I accidentally ended the other stream, so hopefully they'll come in. Sorry, Dave and Austin, come on in to... I sent a new link to you guys. Hold on a second. They should be... I'm sure they'll figure it out momentarily.
Goddamn dinosaurs.
So, I will now debate myself. No, they'll there we go. Okay, sorry. All right, so Dave has found his way back. I sent the link. I assume he saw it too. I accidentally ended the stream earlier. So, we're going to talk a little Flat Earth today, a topic that I knew nothing about until today. And now I know more than I ever wanted to know about it. I will let people know that, I don't have strong opinions about it. It's interesting to me. I have my, oh, there we go. There's Austin. Sorry, guys. So I'm just so the way we're gonna do this is both gentlemen have asked so they can have like kind of 7-minute run uninterrupted where they can talk, which I'm going to allow. I guess we'll start with Dave since he was the first one in here, and then Austin. 7 minutes. Then I'll come back in and we'll kind of freeform it. I've got a big list of topics that I sent to both guys. It seems like both of them have addressed these things many times. But the purpose of this, for me, is to be, I'm sure for these two gentlemen, perhaps different than me, but my biggest goal is for it to be entertaining and to be educational and fun. And I'm sure these guys will be very nice and polite and well-mannered because they just look like two very kind gentlemen. So I'm going to bring them in, and then we'll start with first Dave. You may know him as Professor Dave Explains. He's linked. All of his channels are linked. He's on YouTube. He should also be on Rumble because, reasons. Dave, welcome. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. And then we've got Austin. You might know him as Witsit on Twitter. He's got a YouTube channel. I assume, I don't know, you should have a Rumble channel too, but their YouTube channels are both linked in the description below. I recommend you hear them both out.
Zip lines. We got this kind.
And I guess
let's do this kind.
We're going to talk about Flat Earth. And we're going to start the clock at the 7-minute mark for Dave, if you're ready.
Sure. Yeah. Just present here. How do
on the bottom?
Oh, share screen, right?
Yep. If I can actually drop out too if we need more room on the screen, Yep, there's that.
Can we see the slides?
Yep.
You got it all?
Yep. Okay. So ready? I'm going to shut up. I mean, I'll keep it to. So I got 4:37 now on my clock, so at
cool.
Just flip to 4:38. So go ahead.
Okay. So we're here to talk about Flat Earth versus Globe Earth. Austin is going to pretend to defend the Flat Earth. He will do so with two tactics, which I will undermine right now. First, he will pretend that the default position is that it's just totally flat. Just observe and see how flat it is. So the burden of proof is on the globies to prove it is a globe. No, that's false. All of observations since antiquity have only make sense on a spherical Earth. Looking at the sun, moon, stars, only makes sense on a sphere. That's how we've known the Earth is a sphere for 2,500 years. Furthermore, if you deny a globe, most things don't make any sense. Day, night, seasons, weather, tides, Coriolis, geological phenomena like volcanoes, earthquakes, technology, communications, simple things like line of sight increasing with altitude, terrestrial motion, gravity. None of it makes sense if you deny that the Earth is a globe. Speaking of gravity in particular, I know that Austin will be very eager to talk about his electric gravity bullshit. Here are some reasons why that is stupid. He cannot derive 9.81 meters per second squared. He cannot explain why this value is based on Earth's mass. He cannot explain why G varies precisely with Earth's radius and your altitude. Despite electromagnetism being both attractive and repulsive, he cannot make anything significantly massive fall up. And no, his little middle school science project with the piece of styrofoam doesn't count. He cannot explain why there's no discrepancy in the motion of objects with differing properties, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. Cannot explain why there's no difference in activity over differing substances of different conductivities, grass, sand, water, concrete. He cannot explain why things fall at the same rate regardless of elevation. His electrostatic field dissipates with elevation until it disappears, yet things still fall. So, Austin, this is the default position. This is the position that correlates with all observations and every nook and cranny of our knowledge about the physical world. If you would like to make a case for the contrary, feel free to do so, and make sure to bring quantitative predictions. The second tactic he will use is, because he knows the flat Earth is so unbelievably indefensible, he will try to obfuscate by turning it into a discussion of geocentrism versus heliocentrism. He does this because he relies on using word salad about esoteric topics in modern physics, like relativity and certain experiments from the 19th and 20th centuries. Unfortunately, though, for him, geocentrism utilizes a spherical Earth. That's right, the Ptolemaic geocentric model that was used from antiquity until Copernicus uses a spherical Earth. So, if he would like to change the topic of the debate completely from flat Earth versus round Earth to geocentrism versus heliocentrism, I'm willing to entertain that if he first admits that the Earth is a sphere. And he has to mean it. If he is unable to make that concession, I will continually drag him back to very simple, naked-eye observations and basic logic that prove the Earth is a sphere without any understanding of physics whatsoever. Number one, the observations of the stars. In the northern hemisphere, the stars rotate counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they rotate clockwise. This makes absolutely no sense on the pizza land. Why would the sky be rotating in opposite directions, just depending on where you're standing? Also, why can't we all see the same stars? If you have a line of sight to a star, you should be able to see it. Both of these make perfect sense. On a rotating sphere, you have two celestial poles, and the Earth is rotating, and then we can't see through the Earth. That's why you can't see certain stars. So, in the north, can't see Southern Cross. In the south, can't see Polaris. Speaking of the Southern Cross, in order to get the pizza land, he has to take the point that is the South Pole and unwrap it to get the perimeter of the pizza. And that results in total absurdities like these three people all looking at the Southern Cross at the same time, despite looking at completely different directions. That makes no sense at all. Again, on a sphere makes perfect sense, where south actually means something, and they're all looking at the South Pole. Number two, day and night regions of illumination. This is very bad for the Flurfies, because in the winter months, they need to take the sun all the way out to the periphery of the disk, and that would result in most of the pizza being dark everywhere most of the time. Of course, in reality, the opposite is true. The edge of Antarctica in these winter months is illuminated almost all the time. So how does the light get all the way over there? And then you don't even have to go all the way to Antarctica. You can go to Ushuaia, which is at the tip of South America, where people live, and that must be illuminated around 70% of the trajectory, while places like Point Barrow, Alaska, experience 24-hour night. In order to try to explain this, they have to make light do things that it doesn't do, and in fact, flat earthers do not ever try to explain this at all. It gets even worse if you go all the way to the South Pole. There is a 24-hour sun there, which completely obliterates the flat Earth, as flat earthers themselves admit. And that is why a rich person lately has been offering fully paid trips to the South Pole so that flat earthers can see the 24-hour sun, and they are all busy crapping their pants trying to make excuses to not go. Once again, on a globe Earth, this makes perfect sense. Day is when you're facing the sun. Night is when you're facing away. Pretty simple. Number three, Southern Hemisphere causes trouble. For years, flat earthers have been pretending that there are no direct flights in the Southern Hemisphere. This is wrong. There are many. Sydney to Santiago is one of them. And this goes both ways, nonstop,
Actually, let's put some
in both directions over the Pacific Ocean. And then we have the Antarctica Cup Ocean Race, which is a boat race that circumnavigates Antarctica. They go all the way around every year, and neither of these things make an ounce of sense on a flat Earth. You would have to have, for the flight, the Sydney to Santiago takes this incredibly enormous arced path instead of going the straight line path, and neither of which could be done in 12 hours anyway. And then the boat race would have to go around the entire world, always steering away from Antarctica instead of towards it, which it doesn't do. So, all of these observations are very extremely basic, intuitive ways to prove that the Earth isn't flat. Okay, these all obliterate the flat Earth. They prove without a doubt that the Earth is a sphere. Every single one of them does this. Austin is unable to discuss any of these topics. He has no ability to explain any of these observations on a flat Earth, and so he will desperately try to pivot and turn this into a debate about geocentrism versus heliocentrism. Unfortunately, that's not the topic of the debate. If he wants to have that debate, that's totally fine. He must simply concede this debate that we're having now, admit that the Earth is a sphere, and then we can talk about that completely separate other topic about whether the spherical Earth moves or not. All yours, Austin.
Perfect. Hey, let me, perhaps I should have defined, Austin, I'll give you an extra 60 seconds, if that's okay with you, Dave, to define what flat Earth even is, or just because not everybody in my audience knows.
Okay, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory.
You think so? Should we just go right to the 7?
That the Earth is flat. That's
okay. Just so everyone knows, but also that the Earth is at the center of the universe too, right? Is that are those two things combined?
I mean, yeah, there is no universe if there's right. Okay, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Whatever.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. We'll just go right to the Dave's.
I'm so fancy.
Whoa, what happened?
He just left.
He left?
Well, he might have just, maybe he'll come back. He might have clicked a button that,
Uh-oh. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe he accidentally closed the window.
He might have closed the window, yeah. He might have been trying to add something.
He probably tried to switch tabs to go to a...
Yeah, alright, there he is. Alright, there you go. There you go. No, you're good. I was like, debate over? What? Okay, I'll shut up, and then so at 4:46 you have your 7.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't really make a PowerPoint, but I'll just use the classic one here if you can pop it up on screen for me. So yeah, it's our position is that the Earth is a geocentric stationary plane. This feeble attempt to separate the conversations is disingenuous. That the Earth is stationary, it's in the center of the universe. None of the kinematics or dynamics even of geocentrism is exclusive to sphericity. That is just a get out of jail card because he will not be able to defend the claim that we're moving around the sun. To very quickly go through some of this, falsification is independent of replacement. And so what always happens is people don't defend the globe. They just want to ask millions of questions to the flat earthers. And somehow if the flat earther doesn't know the answer, then all of a sudden the globe model becomes true. And then of course the burden of proof is the one making the positive claim. And then shifting the burden is making the other person prove why your claim isn't true. So if I read a book and say all these fairy tales exist, I don't have to prove that unicorns don't exist. Very simple concept that gets overlooked consistently in this debate. Oftentimes we get what's called a straw man fallacy. People say that this is what flat Earth is, and they point and laugh, and no one that I know thinks that it's a flat disk in a solar system. That's ridiculous. Hopefully we can prevent these, but these are the typical fallacies used. Of course, a straw man fallacy, which we just discussed. Ad hom, attacking the person instead of the argument. Credentials, oh, you're not qualified to talk about this. Appeal to what everyone else thinks. Appeal to authority. Poisoning the well. Begging the question. Shifting the burden of proof. These are always used. Everyone was taught the Earth's a globe when they were young. That doesn't mean it's true. So let's just quickly go through the basic claims here. Claim 1 is that the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3,959 miles. The second claim is that the Earth is spinning, tilted, wobbling, revolving around the sun, shooting through the galaxy, that's then shooting through space. That is a positive claim. And then the third one is that the Earth is in the vacuum of space. The heliocentric model has the burden of proof for these claims. So attempting to remove the burden and pretend that it's just automatically granted to you at the beginning is not how logic works whatsoever. And then one would say, wait, isn't saying the Earth is flat a positive claim? It is, of course. And so then we would have the burden of proof, and we have fulfilled that, right? Actually, this right here is a specular reflection. Any convexity or concavity of the water, if it was curving, you wouldn't be able to get a specular reflection because it will cause what's called a diffused reflection. If we move on here, we have actually verified the Earth is flat in many ways. Radio waves can be sent over 10,000 miles. Amateur records show that they're sent thousands of miles at all frequencies far beyond the geometric limitation of the globe. Here we have a distant mountains observed from 167 miles away at less than 1,000 feet. So the target hidden height should be almost or over 11,000 feet, but the mountain's only 12,000 feet. We should only be seeing roughly 1,000 feet of the mountain. Clearly, that's not the case. Here we have another one, 168 miles. Target hidden height is almost 12,000 feet, and the elevation is entirely 12,000 feet. So we should not see the entire mountain. This is a major problem because you're going to have a problem trying to invoke refraction here, and hopefully you do. This used to be the world record longest distance line of sight. Of course, that means you're a direct line of sight to what you're observing. The world record for the longest photo. Here we have a target hidden height of 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest mountain is 12,000 feet, which means that the mountain should have been thousands of feet below the curvature. Here's another one, 271 miles. Again, the entire mountain should have been obstructed by over 3,000 extra feet. Here's another one, 250 miles. You get the idea. Over and over, the mountain should be obstructed, except for just roughly 800 feet here. Here's another one, 241 miles. The entire mountain, almost the entire mountain should be hidden. And then it goes on and on and on. Here is a very important observation that everyone ducks away from. If you look in the top left here, you see you can't see the mountains. These are called Canigou Mountains. You cannot see the mountains. So when people say, can you see, will you be able to see forever if the earth was flat? That's a ridiculous straw man. Even within a globe paradigm, you'd have to admit you can't see forever because of something called attenuation. The light gets absorbed into the medium. We cannot see the mountains until the sun gets behind it. Due to the intensity of the light from the sun, you now get a silhouette, and we can see the Canigou Mountains. These should have been completely obstructed. You can buy a plane ticket right now for 2 specific days of the year, and you'll know that you'll see the mountains because of a silhouette based on where the sun sets. So I guess refraction is just colluding with the calendar and with the atmosphere to make the earth look flat over and over. Of course, it's a silhouette. Refraction affects light, not the absence of light. Here to address his straw man about the geocentrism thing, these are projected onto a plane. These are literally azimuthal projections. So to say that it requires sphericity is ridiculous. Here we see that all the paths of the planets fit right within a Ferrel cell magnet torus field. Okay, what a coincidence. And to address this misnomer that sunsets are impossible on a flat Earth and they just go behind the curve of the Earth, that is also not true. Here we see the sun disappearing above the horizon with a horizontal line blocking the bottom of it far above the horizon. This is proof that the sun can disappear up above the horizon due to atmospheric conditions. Of course, we have tons of assumptions when it comes to the military that the Earth is flat. Specular reflection, again, I'm going to kind of speed through these, but specular reflection, you see that just a small concavity or convexity in the water actually causes what's called a diffused reflection. You'll see here in the left. So you actually need a flat surface to have a specular reflection. We see these over long distances consistently. So we'll just skip over here. So, and then of course, the globe claims that the horizon is a physical, tangible surface, and it is not. It's literally a horizon that is apparent. That's why it is where the sky appears to meet the ground. So here we can get into some of the specifics here, but of course, also on a globe, the horizon should drop down and away from you as you increase altitude. What we see in reality is it rises with us, which is a major problem. So, long story short, the entire globe model depends on the accuracy of the claimed radius value, and if that radius value is wrong, the entire model is wrong. So in closing, what I'm going to say is, again, falsifications independent of replacement. The literal default position is that the Earth is a stationary plane. The globe says, well, yeah, but it's so big it looks flat, and it's so big that based on the angular rate of motion, you can't tell that it's moving. Could that be true in theory? Sure, but that is a concession that the default position, based on empirical evidence and observation, is that the Earth is a stationary topographical plane, hence why we utilize it as such for all military technology, etc. Therefore, to make a claim that everything is antithetical to that, you objectively and logically have the burden of proof. So, and then we'll get into a lot of the things that he mischaracterized my arguments regarding throughout the debate, hopefully. But yep, there you go.
Okay, thank you for the opener. I want to give you both. What do you think? Like, I assume there's one or two things that both of you have said or that strongly disagree with. Other. Do you want me to open it up to just give you both a 5-minute period for rebuttal?
No,
or do you just want to leave it open?
We can dig into it.
Okay. Why don't what was the first particular topic maybe
it broke
you want to poke around.
Well, Austin is denying this idea. He's insisting that the default position is the flat plane, empirically, observably, everything observable. Okay, so explain the observations from antiquity that I told you. How are you getting the sky to rotate in opposite directions depending on where you're standing? Let's start with there. How observable is that? How does that fit?
Yeah, this is what always happens. Instead of providing evidence that the surface is curving, you're saying, well, but if it's not, then how does this happen?
No curved surface. You said the default position, flat plane. I'm asking you on your flat plane, explain the observations of the celestial sphere. In the north, you get counterclockwise rotation. In the south, you get clockwise rotation. Explain that to me on your default flat plane. Explain it.
Yeah, so the counterclockwise and clockwise direction is super simple. It's based on looking different directions. Your better question is, why does it go around a singular point, is what you're trying to say.
No. I'm asking about the direction. Let's about the direction.
It just looking opposite directions would make them go the opposite directions. They all go east to west.
If you put a clock on your ceiling, which way can you face to make the hands go counterclockwise? Tell me which way you face.
Not analogous. The stars drop.
No, it is though, because the hands on a clock. The hands on a clock.
You don't get it.
Right?
You don't get it. The stars drop due to perspective, so we're actually looking out towards them, not directly up.
Did you know that? Depends on your latitude, right? Depends on your latitude. If you're at the equator, they're going from horizon to horizon.
Wait, do you agree that if I was looking out and something was spinning one way, and then I looked at it from the other direction, it'd look like it was spinning the opposite way?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Okay, that's why I said. You just said, if I put a clock on the ceiling, right, which way, I'm asking you, which way you just said, if something is spinning one way and you look a different way, it'll spin another way. So I'm asking you, put a clock on the ceiling, which way can you face that'll make the hands appear to go counterclockwise?
You obviously don't comprehend what I'm saying, Dave.
I think you don't understand what I'm saying.
Do you agree that things will appear to drop due to perspective?
Why are you talking about perspective? I'm talking
because you don't understand it. So
you're trying to obfuscate.
No, I'm not. If the stars are above me on a plane and I look out, they're going to look like they're dropping down, which means I'm looking out at... You don't even understand basic stuff, dude.
Look at this. Hang on. Where is it? Which way is this turning? Which way is this going? Which way is this going?
I don't know. Which way is it going?
Yeah, which way is it turning?
Who cares?
What is the?
Why are you obfuscating away from what I'm saying?
No, I'm talking about exactly what I'm talking about. Is this going clockwise or counterclockwise? Come on, just give me the answer, buddy. You can see it.
To be fair, the webcam is mirrored, so it might be.
It is.
I think so. So
I don't know, and I don't see what's the relevance.
I see it going counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's how I.
That's going counterclockwise, right? Just say it, Austin. Just say it.
It looks like that, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we keep it turning.
Do you think I don't understand the concept?
No, I'm showing you, and I'm showing all the viewers. Look, which way is this going now?
We all get the concept.
Going clockwise. So if you're standing up here and you look at the sky, you see it rotating counterclockwise. If you're down here, you see it rotating clockwise. So admit that this phenomenon makes perfect sense on a globe. And on a flat Earth, it doesn't, which is why you're rambling about perspective and all these other things.
No, there was no rambling. You incessantly interrupted me explaining it because you know you can't actually allow me to say.
Change the subject.
Okay, let me.
I'm not.
Let me try this. If this is okay, can we start with? Because you guys are both super familiar with this.
Why are there?
Let me toss out. So people can dip a toe. One of the biggest conversations that goes back and forth. Both of you talked about this in your videos. Is in a flat Earth. Dave's video points out that there are some issues where, for example, the sun is coming around, right? And we know because we live here that one area of the world is in perpetual light, the other is in perpetual dark. This would be non-congruent with a flat Earth. So, what is the flat Earth position? Am I describing that fairly, Dave? I'm oversimplifying.
Sure. The flat Earth cannot explain the region. That was my second point. That it cannot explain the regions.
That's what I was trying to remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what is
regions of what?
The regions of illumination, the parts of the Earth that are day or night at any given time.
Yeah, but I know you know the answer. So I've heard the answer given to you.
The viewers
No,
don't
but Dave knows the answer. So something
The
called
answer is that if you're facing the sun, it's day, and if you're not, it's night. That's the answer.
Dude, Dave, I'm gonna enlighten you, bro. If you don't allow the other person's point to be made, you didn't win anything. No matter how much coping's going on in the chat.
For you to make a point. Go ahead.
Okay, it's called a coffee cup caustic. It's a literal physical effect that can be replicated. The light will actually bend around the rim of any type of containment. It can literally be demonstrated and shown to perfectly replicate the seasons, the perfect light distribution on a planet Earth. You're objectively wrong. You've had this presented to you, and now you're back here in front of people pretending you don't know what it is.
Who has presented this to me?
Dave Weiss did. I watched it.
No, Weiss floundered like a buffoon. That's why you guys all call him controlled opposition now. If you could demonstrate this, you'd all have videos demonstrating
Coffee.
this.
There are
me the
literally
model.
hundreds of them.
No.
Coffee cup
I'm not
caustic.
talking about, shine it and, it kind of does a thing, sort of. I'm talking about show the precise regions of day and night over several month period, right? Have it exactly precisely aligned with where
It's literally been done multiple times, Dave.
Sounds like an empty claim to me because I've never seen it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you have.
So okay, hold on. So Austin, give him a second to explain his side. So you're saying what most people see is that the daylight is predictable. Daylight night light is predictable based on what is believed that the orbit, the current belief about the Earth's orbit. In a flat Earth, the rotation. Yeah. In a flat Earth, just let him finish. Dave, you get 2 minutes. Can you describe?
Me? What?
No, sorry. I'm going to shoot it back to you for 2 minutes, but give Austin 2 minutes to describe what he's talking. Because I just want you guys to remember, like, the audience doesn't know what coffee cup, whatever it is, right? So remember. Okay, but remember, you're talking to like normies.
Sure. Okay, so
that's what I'm asking. So Austin, you have 2 minutes. Describe. We talked about how the sunlight stuff goes on. So 2 minutes, and then Dave, you get 2 minutes.
Okay. So if you type in coffee cup caustic, which I will literally I'll share the screen. And Dave has been shown this in his debate.
Stay on point, though. Stay on point.
Oh, okay. I am.
Answer my question. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just Google coffee cup caustic. If I have a coffee cup, if I took the lid off of my coffee cup, and then light was shining in from the window, what will happen because of the rim is the light will hit inside the coffee cup and wrap around the entire rim. I can take this little flat Earth model right here and do it live. I'd have to cut all the lights off, and since the windows are open, I can't. So it's very simple to explain it. There you go. It wraps around. Now, if you apply this to a flat Earth, you will be able to perfectly replicate the distribution of light that gives us day and night, depending on the proximity of the source of light. It's easily done. Everyone knows that, and you can look it up. If you're new to that, that's fine, but just look it up, right? And the way that we determine sunset time is with the equation of time, which uses the apparent sun. It uses the mean of the apparent sun. So we don't even use the globe model and a physical location of the sun to determine sunset time or day and night distribution. In the real world, we use the equation of time. So you can replicate this on a flat Earth. It goes in the globe Earth and flat Earth basket. It isn't exclusive to either one.
Now, how does this? And I'm going to kick it over to Dave after this question. But I watched his debunk video, which is a little bit older, but it has a zillion views. So congrats on that. But there's like, let's say you have this coffee cup caustic, right? And his claim is that there's like perpetual night, daylight in this spot and perpetual night in this spot, right? Am I representing that accurately?
Yes, near the solstices, there are places with 24-hour night and 24-hour day.
So how does that figure into this?
Yeah. Look, okay, I'll share the screen so everyone can see it.
Okay.
Does that work? We'll just do that. So I don't gotta find which one it is. Here we go. Okay.
I got you.
Okay. You see here, this is a demonstration of the coffee cup caustic. Okay? That's what this is. So if you look, you put a dome over at the top of the flat Earth, you're going to take a light source. It's going to give you see the distribution of the equinoxes and the solstice right there below it. Now watch what the light does. Now look at it wrap all the way around the outside. Okay, this is called coffee cup caustic, meaning if there was a container on the Earth, it would literally have to do this. It would have to do this. And yes, all the mathematics has been shown, and I could pull that up if I need to.
Well,
so the math has been shown.
I want to give, while you pull that up, I'm going to give Dave 3 minutes to respond because we went over. So I want to give Dave, I'm like, I'm kind of keeping it rough, but just try to keep some semblance. So I want to let Dave respond to this.
I don't need 3 minutes. It doesn't perfectly match. It's just a very hackneyed demonstration that kind of sort of makes a shape. They're not showing any kind of actual model that directly correlates with all the positions. So number one, it absolutely does not correlate with the times of day and night. It doesn't do it. But second of all, it also creates gigantic problems because in order to get this, you're pretending that there's this dome, magical dome or whatever the hell you're talking about that's giving this effect, which number one isn't there, right? You cannot demonstrate that this dome is there. But number two, it creates other problems because if you're saying that the sun is outside of this dome, then you don't get to have the sun inside the dome for the magical explanation for tides and all these other things that don't make sense on a flat Earth that you're pretending that the sun and the moon do, right?
Yeah, no, when Dave mentions this is another point of contention. You guys are going at it, but I just want to keep everyone else in the loop. There is, one of the points of contention is whether or not in the flat Earth model, and you guys are correct me if I'm wrong, is whether or not the sun is inside or outside of this hypothetical dome. Because in one case, it's responsible for the tides and this, that, and the other. And in the other case, it's responsible, what is it, tides and, what did you say?
Storms, everything.
Yeah.
Coriolis.
So what is the...
rotate in opposite directions depending on the hemisphere.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay, all right, so, Austin, I'll give you... Go ahead and respond to that.
Okay. Yeah. So we don't know what's above us because you can't freely just shoot stuff up as high as you want to. Okay, and GPS cuts off over a certain height. It's all militarized. But there could be layers to it. I don't know if you've ever thought of that, Dave. But there could just be layers. There could be multiple layers. And yet we know the sun affects things here. Tides don't work. You just gish gobs. Tides don't even work in your model. You can look up a paper by a Harvard paper, a century of tidal theory failures. Okay. It's very simple. But this was if the whole debate is just, hey, let's just start spamming Austin with questions of how would this work on a flat Earth. That's not a debate. You're supposed to support the claim the Earth's a spinning ball. I showed direct falsification of it in my PowerPoint. So avoiding that is totally disingenuous.
Like the rotation of the night sky depending on latitude, and you can't answer. You just say the word perspective and run away.
So Dave,
no, I got 3 words out and you interrupted.
No. You were free to answer. That's all you could do.
Let me.
You remember we did the whole thing with the clock on the ceiling, and you have no idea what you're talking about. You said that,
fellas. Okay, let me do. Okay, I'll play ball. I think that's fair. Why don't I give Dave and Austin both blocks of time? Dave, defend your position. I'll give you 5 minutes enough, you think?
No, we don't need to. I mean, longer chunks of time are just time for word salads, right? We need to actually...
All right, defend that the Earth is a globe. And then when you're done, I'll pass it to Austin and let him defend that.
Well, I mean,
right?
Look,
that's what you're asking for, Austin, right?
I want you to rebut the specific falsification of the globe where we see things from hundreds of miles away that should be obstructed by literal miles of vertical curvature, including silhouettes.
Pick one thing. Pick one thing like that. Okay, so that is the question.
Okay, the question is, why do we see too far? And the answer is, we don't. Sorry, they're all lies. Every time you do a picture like that, you're lying about the distance, you're lying about the elevation, right? The altitude from which the picture is taken. You're just lying, right? All of these things.
What is the picture you're talking about? Is this a picture where it's like, oh, here's a mountain that's...
They just take pictures and like, look at this thing that's so far away, we shouldn't be able to see it. Or like, here's the Chicago skyline from across the lake, well, we shouldn't be able to see it. They're just always lying. They're just lying about the distance. They're lying about various...
Bro, those were... Everyone I showed was from a professional photography website that has nothing to do with flat Earth, with all of the information listed. Austin, your model doesn't claim that the distances are wrong. That isn't your model's answer.
No, you guys just lie. You guys just lie. That's all it is. You just lie about how far away things are and how high...
It's a professional photography website. It has nothing to do with flat Earth.
Well, can you share one so people can see what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Anyone you want, as long as Dave agrees that it looks good.
The Raptors
share one that you think, Austin, that you think... I'm trying to, share one that you think supports your position, and then Dave can debunk the photo, or he can share his criticism about the photo. And while he's looking that up, I want to give everyone a chance, let you know. I'm joined here by 2 creators, 2 commentators.
In here too?
Both. Yep. Witsit Gets It Done on YouTube. Linked in the description is at YouTube at Witsit, and as well as Professor Dave. Also enjoyed your Terrence Howard video because I think he actually is legitimately insane, but that I don't know. But the
Expected virality on that one, yeah.
yeah, that was all right. Yeah, but both guys great content. One of the people in this room are banned from Twitter. I don't want to name names, but the otherwise you can find them on Twitter or Dave, is there somewhere else where you want people to look for your stuff other than okay,
YouTube.
One of these guys in the room is also propped up by all the algorithms.
All right,
I make popular content, man. I make popular content because it's funny to
Wait,
watch.
you're prioritized by the algorithm.
No, I'm things that people like to watch are prioritized by the algorithm.
If I Google
nobody
Wits It Gets It, you
guys,
come up.
So few people are stupid enough to fall for a flat Earth, so nobody watches you guys.
Dave, listen.
Interesting.
If I YouTube Wits It Gets It geocentrism, a literal stream I did, you pop up. Can you explain to me why you're popping up when I search for me? Okay, let's not play games.
Let's try it.
YouTube admitted in Congress they deprioritize flat Earth content because it's misinformation. So
yeah, I don't get it. I got, if the Earth is flat, what's under it? Shorts.
Yeah,
Solar system from Earth's perspective.
Of course, because it's heavily censored. It doesn't mean it's true, but we don't have to play this game that like you're not propped up.
Jeff recommends popular content, but I make very good, informative, educational content.
Look at that! What do you wait? Go down! What do you have to do with Wits It Gets It geocentrism? What does your video have to do with it? You just proved my point live for the whole entire audience.
Maybe I put the keyword geocentrism in there. I don't even remember what my keywords are.
No, you didn't.
You don't know what my keywords are.
I know for a fact you did it. So anyway,
you don't have access to my YouTube
because I've tested this because you're the #1 propped up anti-flat Earth. Dude, they admitted in Congress that they consider it misinformation, so they deprioritize it and they prioritize the information correcting the misinformation. So that would be you, according to them. So they prioritize you. If you look up anything flat Earth related, you get Professor Dave. Okay, we all know that content blows the rest of your content out. That's why you got so many tens of millions of views.
No. So, look, I have 1,500 tutorials. Do we really want to talk about my education?
No, bro, I'm not even. I hope good luck, brother. I'm not hating on your success. I'm just pointing out.
No, you definitely.
I'm literally not, dude. If you make $400 million, I don't care. I wish you would. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just pointing out, bro. I'm just pointing out. Also, objective fact that it's C-part.
Austin, I love you, but hold on. Now, here's a picture that Austin shared. Nobody denies that this picture exists. Austin, what do you say this is showing? Now, remember, I keep bringing it back because people who are watching aren't as balls deep as you guys both are in the topic. You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is just a picture to me. What does this show?
Okay, so this was the world record at the time. It's been beaten now for the longest line of sight photograph ever taken. This is a mountain called Pic Gaspard. Okay, and it was so now on a globe. If I look out, the Earth should be curving and blocking things in the distance, similar to how I can't look around the corner. Right? Like if I look, it's like looking at a hill. So if based on your height,
taken at 12,000 feet, though, right?
Correct, right. So what you do is you pull up Earth Curve Calculator, you put the observer height in, and then it'll tell you where the horizon will be, and it'll tell you how much of the target hidden height there is. So this is from the Earth Curve Calculator, official calculator, and if you look at it, the observer was 9,000 feet up. The target hidden height, meaning how much Earth curvature should be there, is 16,000 feet, and the top of the tallest part of the mountain is only 12,000 feet. That means the top of that mountain should be 4,000 feet below Earth curvature.
Okay, and then Dave, what do you say to that?
Two things. One, I cannot verify any of those numbers. Those could absolutely be fabricated by you. And number two, we're not doing any of the math. So those are two things that are not being verified. So instead, let's talk about something purely conceptual and intuitive. Why can we see farther with elevation?
You're on the screen. Be careful.
What happened?
I know.
Okay. I was just saying,
this guy's just denying basic math.
I put my own home address on when I didn't realize it, so I was just telling them.
Yeah, I guess a good look.
Okay, let me finish the thing I was saying.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
So we can't verify any of these numbers, so instead let's just talk about something very simple and intuitive. If we are looking at something at the horizon, if we go up in elevation, we can see farther. That is not intuitive on a flat Earth because that actually increases the distance to the horizon, right? If you're going up, now there's an additional distance, right? If you get a hypotenuse, that's always going to be longer than the leg there. So why can we see further with higher elevation? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, That's insanely incorrect. So you change
What
your
about-
angle
what
of
about it
view.
incorrect? Okay, so just address the point, right?
I did.
Okay, go ahead. You
Within,
just said it was
within 7
incorrect.
seconds.
incorrect.
He
Austin,
made a claim
you're
that
here
it doesn't
and you're
make any
looking
sense.
here.
It's
If you go up,
basic
this is
math.
even farther now, right? If you're here and you're looking at something here and you go up in elevation, that thing is now further away from you. So why can you see further with additional elevation?
Because you're increasing your angle of view.
Increasing
You
your
didn't
angle
know
of
that?
view, you can see how can you see a further distance? We're not talking about an angle, a further distance. How can you see a
Because
further
now you're changing your angle of view, so you're increasing your angular resolution and the things that you can pick up in the distance. Also,
Why does
the
that
ground
make it
ramps
further?
up due to perspective. Dude, just
Ramps
imagine,
up?
just think about it simply. If I was on a flat floor and I laid my head down on the floor, as I start to stand up, I'm going to be able to see further along the floor because my angle of view increases. This is again not exclusive to a globe Earth. And you deflected away from the observation that refutes the globe again.
Because I can't verify any of these numbers or the map. They're just lying about them.
Okay, so if the numbers are correct, then you concede it refutes the globe.
Probably not. No.
Okay, then answer it as if the answer, because these are not my numbers.
Okay, I don't know that.
Everyone at home's gonna be able to go look it up. It's a official professional photography website.
I just want to let you guys both know. At the start of the show, I did a poll. Just so it's with about 3,000 votes, it's 65% Globe Gang, 35% Flat Friend, which I thought I'm going to run it again at the end because I thought this would be fun experience.
Well, nobody's going to change their mind here.
Well, that's probably true. So you've watched online debates before, Dave. So the yeah.
Well, no, not really. I mean, he brings his flat Earth, people, and I mean, they're impervious to facts and logic, so they're not going to change.
Says the guy that's just ducking a picture.
Yeah, I'm ducking a picture because it's a picture, right? I'm talking about very simple physical concepts, right? I'm talking about observations that we can all agree on, like the observation of the celestial sphere rotating counterclockwise versus clockwise, that you cannot explain, that only makes sense on a spherical Earth that we used in ancient times to prove that the Earth is a sphere. That's why sphere is the default position that you're trying to undermine by talking
But hey,
about.
real fast, can we show some intellectual honesty? I understand that you don't know these numbers, and fair enough. Okay,
fair,
if
we
you
don't
want to
know.
verify them. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, in good faith, if the numbers were correct, which they are, what
Hold
would
on,
be
you can't
your
say that
response?
part. You could say if the numbers were correct.
Yeah, it's an intellectually honest question, and it's actually disingenuous to avoid addressing the evidence just with the cop out that I can't verify the numbers right now.
It's actually really not, because when you have an entire model that is all interconnected and all observable phenomena are explained by that model, one singular datum, like one photo, is not going to be powerful enough to undermine an entire model. If the numbers were true and if the math wasn't fudged, then I would say, okay, there's probably some kind of atmospheric effect or some kind of thing that I am not aware of that is making us see a little bit further. Maybe it's something that particular day. There's a particular humidity, or it's clearly over water. That's going to increase the atmospheric refractive effects. None of these observations are ever done over land. I think that's why. Same with the skyline of Chicago. They're always done over water for you guys. So there's something clearly, just one singular explanation that is missing, and that's why one datum is not going to undermine an entire model that explains every single thing about the world that we live in, from everything we see in the night sky to geological phenomena to just absolutely everything in our world, right?
So, hand wave dismissal, red herring fallacies, appeal to possibilities. That's your rebuttal. Okay, we can move on.
Fallacy, name a fallacy, fallacy.
Let's move on.
Do you know that fallacies are important, Dave?
Now, I know that you guys name random fallacies to pretend that you've won something when you didn't. That's
You literally appealed to possibilities. You said there's probably something that could possibly be happening. You literally did a textbook appeal to possibility. It's all good.
You're pretending that one observation is worth more than thousands upon thousands of observations every single day.
I showed 10. It doesn't matter. You're just affirming the consequence and reifying your model by saying it explains everything. What about the
We see too far.
What about the long distance radio waves? What about when we shoot radio waves line of sight?
That's
thousands
called
of
sporadic
miles.
E propagation. It bounces off a layer of the atmosphere.
Okay, that's
right,
called
hold on,
skywave propagation.
Okay, hold on.
Erratic
hold on,
EV
hold on.
propagation.
Everyone's had their say on that. Okay, let me ask you. What another thing that I found fascinating as a normie is the contention between the what do they call you, Dave? A glober?
I don't know.
What is the name?
Heads, globe.
Globe.
I don't care.
And then, so the globe people and the flat people is the idea that one of the things that I saw Austin talk about and you talk about was that essentially 5,000 years ago there was a different North Star, and the question around whether or not the stars move, because that is actually paramount to the idea that the Earth is rotating around the sun versus the Earth being the center of the universe. So Austin, I'll go to Austin, then I'll go to Dave, and then next time I'll start with Dave. So in the flat Earth model, is it that the stars? Can you explain the stars thing to the layman in the flat Earth model?
Okay. Wait, the star thing? Like the question you just asked about the star moving or something else?
Well, I thought, maybe I misunderstood. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the flat Earth mindset was that the stars did not move. Is that not true?
Sure.
Am I wrong about that?
Complete track.
Okay, well,
Or correct.
there is a claim that the North Star used to be a different star, and it's a very vague, ambiguous claim based on like architecture. So there's no actual legitimate evidence verifying that. For all legitimately recorded history, we have Polaris. But there is something called a kinematic equivalence, which sure that sounds
Here we
fancy,
go.
but it's not.
Hold on. I know you're explaining it, but you didn't. So is it? What is the flat Earth position on stars? Do they move or do they not move?
Asset delivered.
They move every day. That's called sidereal rotation. If you mean over time, there does seem to be a slight progression of the stars. But what I'm trying to explain is that isn't exclusive to the Earth moving or not moving, right? It's called kinematic equivalence, which is what relativity is about, relative motion. It's like, oh, is the plane moving or am I moving? You can never tell. That's what the globe model says. So anything that moves in the sky could by default not prove that we were the ones moving according to the official globe model. That's the point I'm making. It's called a kinematic equivalence. So whatever the stars are doing, because we can't go back thousands of years and verify if the North Star was different, whether it was or wasn't, it doesn't prove the Earth is moving.
So, Dave, your response to that?
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, the North Star became Polaris in like 600 CE or something.
6,000 years ago or something, yeah?
No. Way more recent than that. Polaris, it was Thuban in the times of the Egyptians, became Polaris. So that's well documented. But furthermore, we don't need to do that. We can very accurately observe Milankovitch cycles. We can see the precession of the rotational axis happens every year. It can be measured. And then there's parallax and all these other things. But that's not really what matters because, again, he's trying to do this thing where he doesn't have to where he's pretending that geocentrism doesn't assume a spherical Earth. When the argument was going on in the Renaissance, early Renaissance, about geocentrism and heliocentrism, we knew that the Earth was a sphere. So every time he does this kinematic equivalence, the kinematic equivalence he's trying to refer to is whether the Earth goes around the sun or if the sun goes around the Earth, not doing little donuts on a pizza land. That's not an equivalence. Those are not equal things. We're talking about one going around one or the other going around the other. Those are the two things. So geocentrism, you often try to defend a geocentric model. It assumes a spherical Earth. That is an actual model that can, to some reasonable precision, describe the motions of the celestial objects and put them where they're supposed to go and predict quantitatively where they're going to be. Flat Earth doesn't have that. You don't have any model. You don't have any way of saying this is where the planets are going to be. This is when an eclipse is going to happen. Any of these things. You absolutely cannot do any of those things. That's why I told you in the beginning, if you want to defend geocentrism, that's totally fine. We can talk about how we know that the Earth moves, which is a completely different topic from knowing whether the Earth is round or flat, because geocentrism uses a spherical Earth.
Okay, response to that, Austin.
Okay, so what's happening is I'm specifically addressing the singular point in your gish galloping. No. So, like, you want me to address everything you just said, right? Like, for one,
kinematic equivalence has nothing to do.
How about this? I'll throw it back to you real quick. Why is geocentrism exclusive to the Earth being a sphere?
because it's a model that works. Flat Earth doesn't work. It doesn't explain anything we see, like the observations of the celestial sphere that you keep running away from. You cannot explain why the stars rotate one way in the north and the other way in the south. You cannot explain that.
All right, I'm going to take my time back and let me respond to everything you said, because you didn't answer. So the answer is that it's not, because with everything...
You didn't answer, that's fine.
You didn't. You just started talking about Star Trails again. So with everything going on in the quote-unquote universe, you said universe wouldn't exist. No, maybe not as you've defined it, but with everything going on, all the quote-unquote planets, everything moving around, the Earth's shape doesn't matter. You just project that. Relative to your projection, you create a transform relative to your projection or your assumption of motion.
Observations of the night
Buddy,
sky.
I let you finish.
Here.
Chill out. Okay. So
let him finish. Let him finish, Dave.
So the truth is that all observations have shown that the Earth is stationary. We have the cosmic microwave background, which showed anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy, which is the exact opposite of the heliocentric prediction, and intersected on the Earth. The 23.4 degree axis was on a non-local observation.
Salad.
Dude, define word salad.
You're just using words. You're trying to pretend that cosmology proves the Earth is flat. Then all cosmologists would be flat earthers. Do you have any idea how insane you sound? No, it's not. You're pretending to understand cosmology. You're pretending.
What did I say that was word salad, Dave?
No, I'm saying it's word salad because it is word salad.
Yeah, I said that was word salad.
We're talking about the shape of the Earth. You're defending a flat Earth, which we figured out it isn't true in 2,500 years ago, and you're trying to talk about modern cosmology to try to talk about this when you can't even explain naked eye observations of the stars in the sky.
Okay, look, they're directly related. The idea is that the Earth is a tilted, wobbling, spinning sphere that revolves around the sun. The alternative is that the Earth is a geocentric, stationary plane. Both of those are directly related.
Sphere, that is a stationary sphere was the alternative. Prior to heliocentrism, we thought that it was a stationary
Stop interrupting.
sphere.
Hold on.
You keep going off the rails. I got to bring you back to what we're talking about.
Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm getting some flack for allowing too much interruptions. That's on me. I know that both of you feel passionately about this, but please try to keep that to a minimum. But I do want to say, most importantly, I think it's really important and really cool that both of you took time out on a Saturday night to get online and do this and stream. And I just want to thank, I just want to give a shout out. I don't care who people back who are watching or whatever, both channels are linked in the description. Witsit gets it or Professor Dave. Ideally, you'd subscribe to both and consume both people's content and make up your own mind. I just want to before
Why are there so many
emotions heat up too much.
I don't
just
get this.
say, hey, I appreciate you both being here. I know that it's a weekend night. Can I, if you'll allow me, I'm getting called a coward for not bringing up The Edge, apparently, which is, I assume, one of the more controversial opinions. And Austin, I think it's fair for you to say, hey, I showed up and I'm the one that has to answer. I'm the one that has to defend all our positions. But I also think that's a result of the fact that the spherical Earth is the commonly accepted opinion.
Sure.
So I want to be fair, and I'm not doing awesome at it, but I'm trying. So I want to say, if there are specific positions against the sphere or against that you want Dave to answer for, I want to give him give you that opportunity. But
right,
one thing that is what I found fascinating today was the idea of the ice wall or Antarctica. There's a lot of craziness around that because what I thought, just being unbiased, trying to be unbiased, but I guess being honest, that is very hard for me to believe. Because people can literally go to Antarctica. I watched a lot of Flat Earth 30. I told you guys before, I watched almost 8 hours and I was like, these bastards better show up because I spent my whole Saturday watching Flat Earth videos. But I was watching the Antarctica thing, which is a common talking point. And people go there all the time. So what is the Flat Earth position about the rim? Basically, that's what people in chat are asking that. What's going on the edges in the Flat Earth? And then Dave, I'll give you a chance to. Is that okay? I'll give you a chance to respond to that. Okay.
All right. First of all, to address the first part, I'm cool with asking questions. That's the natural response because flat Earth is so out of left field for most people.
Yeah.
But that's more of like a normal conversation thing, not a like he's supposed to be debating me thing. But it's all good. Okay. I'm pretty chill.
I mean, I can let you guys just go at it too if that's what you want.
No, it's cool. I'm gonna answer your question. Okay. This is the typically held position. You cannot freely and privately explore past the 60th south latitude, okay, which is a ring around the outside. So to independently and freely identify and verify what all is out there is not possible. Do people go there? Yes, you can go on approved guided tours. Most of the time it's like just a couple locations. They say it's super dangerous. I have a friend that was this is anecdotal, but a former NASA employee was stationed there for 6 months. He's a flat earther. It's admittedly the highest elevation on Earth. So when people say ice wall, I mean, there are videos and pictures of what you would call an ice wall. It's the highest elevation on the Earth.
Hold on. Highest elevation on Earth and
highest average elevation. So not like Mount Everest, the highest average elevation of a continent.
Okay. That might
be. So we're saying we don't know what's there. And oftentimes people get this straw man. It's like flat earthers say you can't go to Antarctica. People go there all the time. No, we're saying you can't freely and privately explore it, right? Like, if I let you in my house, but you couldn't go upstairs, you couldn't tell me what was upstairs, right?
It's sex dungeon. I would know.
So, are you going to go with Will Duffy to the South Pole? He's paying for you.
I told him when he first emailed me, before I even knew who he was, that I was open to going. I had specific parameters, which is that they can't take my words out of context and make a hit piece like they always do, that they have to be forthcoming about all the funding and all the stuff like that. And I said I would go. I have no reason not to go.
Hold on, Dave. Can you explain the will? Because I know about the Will Duffy thing, but most people watch.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was getting these emails and not even knowing who he was, so I didn't reply. But this guy Will Duffy has been emailing flat earthers and people who make flat earth debunking content about paying to bring some people to the South Pole to observe the 24-hour sun.
He's like some eccentric billionaire guy, right?
I don't really know anything about him, and I don't know how much money he has. I don't think he's a billionaire. I think he has enough money to pay for a couple people to go.
Because I will go. I'll do the South Pole tour.
I wouldn't. I have things to do, but I would love for some flat earthers to go and see the 24-hour sun. And most flat earthers are already making excuses. Weiss is saying he doesn't want to go because he's evil, Satan or something. I don't know what he's talking
Austin
about.
said he would go.
Okay. That's great.
And Dave's position was that he doesn't respect people that are dishonest and hide behind anonymity and stuff like that. So whatever. I said I would go because, dude, I'm not scared of anything. You know I'm a flat earther?
Did he contact you?
Yeah. He sent like a mass email. And when I saw it, I responded. I said, dude, look, I'll go. It has to be transparent and honest. People have stolen money. They claim on their videos they're going to fly us. And then we contact them. They're like, I'm not going to actually fly you. That's just for my YouTube video. But he still has a GoFundMe up to make flat earthers look bad. So I said, if it's honest, I'll go. I'm not scared of the truth, dude. I'm a flat earther because you can go see mountains from hundreds of miles away consistently. It doesn't add up. The math doesn't add up. So, anyway, and
can I bring it back?
I don't know how that's going to manifest, but as of now, it looks like it could be me and Jaron going with, I guess, Dave McKeegan or something. But
I give you.
And when we don't see the 24-hour sun,
what are you going to have to see? So if you go, all right, you right here and right now, you go, you see 24-hour sun, you come back, you make a video, because look, I saw this in Dave's video. I feel like I've saw you. And I have also, everyone's been wrong. It's not like a big deal. I'm not saying you are. But I'm saying, what will it take? Like, if you go down there and you see 24-hour sunlight, you'll come back and say, all right, cool. I'm cool. It's global. I'm a global guy now. What would it take if you went to the South Pole for you to change your mind?
If I saw a 24-hour sun that does a 360 around me, like the Go predicts, I would readily admit, like, that doesn't.
What's a 360 around me look like?
Like the sun should just do a full circle around you and never set, just like it does in the north in the midnight sun. It should do the same thing in the south.
What does it look like in Alaska when it's light for 24 hours there?
It literally does. If you're far enough north, you can just see the sun do a full circle around you, which is what the flat Earth predicts as well. What's up?
Dave, do you have any issue with that? I don't know. I've never been there.
No, great. I can't wait. I really hope they go, and then when they come back, that's the end of Flat Earth, because that will be it.
Well, let me finish what I was saying. It would match the globe. I would step back and be like, whoa, I don't expect it to, so I would admit, yeah, that's weird. That matches the globe. That's not expected on the Flat Earth from my understanding, blah, blah, blah. I'd openly admit it.
Isn't that what you just did to me about the photograph, or I was thinking of another explanation?
What? No. No. I didn't even say that yet, but maybe. But a more definitive test, actually, is to charter a plane, fly far enough south, have multiple mechanical gyros spinning up that maintain rigidity in space. They should tip over as you go, and then it should flip over. So it should tip and flip based on the curvature of the Earth. If, say, that test in the 24-hour sun was actually manifested, which I don't have high hopes for, I would, if I found out for sure the Earth's a globe, I would be the first one to come out and admit I was wrong. Because that doesn't prove one thing doesn't prove is that we're flying through space. It doesn't prove any of this other nonsense.
Okay, well, let me ask this. So, I feel like Austin's been on a bit of the hot seat. So let me come out. Let me pose a question to Dave. I watched a bunch of your videos today. I actually really appreciate. I can definitely tell you're a teacher because all of your PowerPoint slides gave me PTSD back to my college days.
I'm good with slides.
Yeah. I actually, when I was getting my master's degree, I still had a professor that used overhead projectors that he had written in the 70s.
Old school, yeah.
Yeah, but I've heard the terminology around Flat Earth several times in your videos about grifting, right? Mm-hmm. What is the grift? What is the what is the grift in saying that there's a flat Earth? Can you kind of describe that? Because I don't see a lot of these flat Earth guys being give me money. So what is it?
It's just a little cult, and there's super chats, and they do the conferences and all these things. That's all it is.
So there's
it's not like a huge grift. It's not like Scientology or something, but
okay, we all agree Scientology is a huge grift, right?
I hope we all agree that.
Yeah, dude, Flat Earth doesn't make you money, bro. I get demonetized all the time. I'm deprioritized. I had to lose a 6-figure job offer because I had Flat Earth videos online. Okay. If you were gonna grift, why would you pick the thing that doesn't make money?
Because you're capable of a better grift. If you could do I've been debunking Billy Carson and some of these guys on the Rogan thing. That guy actually makes money lying about archaeology and ancient aliens and stuff like that. That would be a smarter grift.
What?
Okay, anyway, but this is the problem. People are gonna get so triggered that Dave's not being forced to actually address his improper claims.
Okay, well, what is it?
I'm just going to be real.
No, he's right here. He's right. Okay, hold on, Dave. All right. What is it? Articulate the question that Dave has not answered, and then Dave, the floor is
all ears.
Delivery has been completed.
Okay, yeah, so like I explained earlier, when we looked at the cosmic microwave background, it actually showed that there was, he called this word salad, anisotropic.
Hold on, wait, what is it? I just want to, we're not all, so what did you say, the what microwave?
It's called the cosmic microwave background, CMB, which is just, you send something up high in the air and you read the electromagnetic radiation. There's the visible spectrum of light, then there's the non-visible spectrum. It's pulling in all the data from the light that you can't see with your eyes.
If you've ever researched Flat Earth, you know this image, right? Dave's seen this
Probably,
image.
yeah, most people
certainly do with Flat Earth. I mean, this is cosmology.
No, hold on. But hold on, David. Hold on. Just let him. Just let him.
It's about is the Earth moving or not? So in the current model that the Earth is flying around the sun, the universe, whatever, all energy should be evenly distributed. That's called homogeneous, and it should be isotropic, meaning it has no preferred direction. Okay, but what they saw was that it was inhomogeneous and anisotropic, and actually the part that had a preferred direction intersected on the Earth. And they ended up calling it the axis of evil. And then what they saw was that this anisotropic inhomogeneous distribution of energy was actually on a 23.4 degree tilt, which was supposedly the Earth's tilt, but it was observed way beyond our quote-unquote galaxy, which means it could not have been the Earth tilted. So it's a major problem. The CMB matched the geocentric model.
Okay, awesome. So you're talking. Okay, so this image, right? The CMB model, right? You're saying. How does this? One thing I'm a layman, so I feel like I'm speaking for just regular people who are watching.
Have the potential to lead to issues
what about
further
this?
down the line.
Should Dave talk about when it comes to the sphere heads? So when you talk about the microwave, whatever. How does this relate to Flat Earth? Is what my question is.
This is just about if the Earth is geocentric or not. If the universe is geocentric.
Okay, so that's a different conversation then, right? Because
it's not though.
The planet could be yes, it is, because the planet could be a sphere but still be geocentric.
It could be, yes, that's right.
Okay, so it is different.
The point is that the mainstream model we were all inundated with was that the Earth's a spinning globe. So the alternative is that the Earth's a stationary plane. And what always happens is the people that believe in the spinning globe, they want to avoid the burden of proof for both of those things, curvature and motion. And if they think they can say, what's an eclipse? Then somehow they don't have to explain all the evidence that shows the Earth's not a spinning globe. And that is illogical.
Austin, how do you explain eclipses? You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. So
Well,
I don't
wrap
know.
this one up first. I mean, let's not jump topics here.
okay, I'll shut up. You're right, Dave. Thanks for keeping me in line. Go on.
You can go wherever we want after this, but no, this is what Austin relies on. This is why he's so incapable of doing.
But what does
talking
it
about-
supposedly prove? I'm sorry. So what does
That the Earth's in the center of the universe.
Got it. Okay, Dave, respond.
Okay, so no, it absolutely doesn't. Otherwise, cosmologists would all agree that Earth was at the center of the universe. Right? This is all freely available information that you're finding on Wikipedia. If this demonstrated what you're saying it does, that would be the consensus among people who study this for a living. It is not, and that doesn't do what you're saying. You're just saying it does. This is what you do, right? You need to talk about esoteric aspects of modern physics because your viewers don't understand what you're talking about, and they just believe you, instead of talking about very simple things, like which I want to keep bringing you back to. Why is it that people looking in different directions can all see the Southern Cross at the same time? Very simple, intuitive things. These are what we should be discussing.
Sure. Okay. So hand wave dismissal, appeal to consensus, and appeal to
You're just lying about what
authority.
it says. You're just lying about what it says.
You said if it said what I said, all the experts would agree. The consensus is that there is no the consensus is that there's
homogenous. The CMB is homogenous. This is common knowledge.
the consensus is that there's no legitimate explanation that's agreed upon for it. And it was originally rejected and then redone and showed the same unexpected results and then done again and shown the same unexpected results. That's the actual truth. There isn't a legitimate consensus answer from your paradigm. Doesn't matter. When you want to keep talking about the stars, you said look different directions. Just like when Dave Weiss was talking to you, he tried to tell you magnetic declination's a thing, and you called that jargon and said that that wasn't a real thing. You're just making up words.
I didn't say he made it up. I just said he's saying magnetism for no reason because it's nothing to do with what I was talking about. How is magnetic declination going to allow you to see the same thing by looking in different directions? Explain. You go ahead. Go ahead and
You
ask the little man what Weiss said.
We're going to see that you didn't follow him then either, and that is that you're talking about directions. You're invoking cardinal directions. How do you determine your directions? So if you're going to use a compass, according to your paradigm, when you get to the south, the magnetic declination gets way worse.
Why do I need a compass? Can't I use geographical phenomena? Can't I point in a particular geographical direction by known landmarks? Don't we know on a map?
How do you know the exact? First of all, when you're looking at the stars all the way to the Southern Cross, what known landmarks are you going to use?
Anything on the tips of those continents. What are you talking about? You're standing at the tip of a southern continent. Look, I'll give you, let's say you're off by a degree or two. Okay, fine. We're looking a little bit this way, a little bit that way. On the graphic that I showed you, they're looking in completely different directions, all seeing the Southern Cross at the same time. It doesn't make sense. You can't.
First of all, it's not a degree or two, Dave. It is dozens and dozens of degrees. If you go far enough south, it is actually 179 degrees at one point. Meaning,
how far south? Very near the magnetic pole?
Yeah, in your paradigm, which your magnetic pole's in the ocean. But the point is dude, if you're gonna say I'm looking south for sure, you're relying on magnetic declination corrections. Okay, but that's the point Dave was making. You hand wave dismissed it, and it's just a fact.
I can go outside of my house and look north without looking at a compass because I know which way north is on a map. Do you use a compass every day to orient yourself, or do you just know which way the cardinal's directions are?
Yeah, but in the north we have Polaris to go off of, right?
No. On a map, on a street, walking around the street, you've got a grid of streets, you know which way is north. Do you need a compass to do that?
Well, actually, if you use the compass, it will show you different directions over time. I'm asking you, how do you verify the south?
Use geography.
How did you verify the exact cardinal direction of different geographical input? Okay, but let's just, anyway, you don't understand that point apparently, but it doesn't matter.
Or you're just desperately pivoting.
No, dude. You said that it wasn't a real thing, and now you think
it wasn't a real thing. I said you're just bringing up magnetism for no reason because you think that's going to save you. It's almost verbatim what I said.
How else? You're saying the only other way to verify it is to look at geography.
Dude,
okay,
you're pretending that if I'm looking at what I know is south on a map, that I could somehow be pointing basically north or near north. Is that really how much of a distortion you think is physically possible when you're just using a map to look south?
You don't just use... Okay, I'm trying to explain to you that in your paradigm, in the south, the magnetic declination gets crazy. In theory, could that be true? Sure.
Where does it get crazy? How close to the magnetic
Below
pole
the
do you have to
equator,
get
man.
in order for it to get crazy? How close?
Wherever
to the
you're
magnetic
viewing
pole?
the Southern Cross from is far enough south that the magnetic declination is a significant factor.
Is it though? Because it's
Yes.
not really that close to the
I'm
magnetic
gonna
pole.
make a compy
No, but it can still be
army!
40, 50 degrees magnetic declination
No,
in
it couldn't.
your paradigm.
No, it
Yes,
couldn't.
you can go to magnetic-declination.com and look it up. The other thing is there's something called an azimuthal grid. So we actually see the world in a little azimuth grid. That's how we measure it, right? That's how we measure the stars. We take our zenith, and then we take elevation measurements down to our azimuth. So it gives you a little dome. Now, when you actually run this through a software, you will see that if you had a bunch of stars circling over top of you, and you had this little limit of vision that was a dome, you'll actually see the stars appear to converge at a point where they're actually not converging and circle around that point. We have replicated it, so we actually expect it. The problem is we need to verify the exact cardinal direction to even put that input into the software to know for sure, to give you a flat Earth model you all begged for, and it is impossible to 100% verify the cardinal directions that far south. So
Hold on. All right. Okay.
You
so I
have
was
no
getting
such
you-
model. You have no such thing, or you would have shown it. You would have all been celebrating it in all your videos. You can't
we've
do
shown it. We have shown it.
Well, bring it up. I'm gonna let you bring it up, Austin. I want to say this. Go ahead, take a minute, bring it up. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, so I wanted to keep this to, maybe 30. Are you guys okay with 30 more minutes? Is that okay? Or
Yeah.
20, 30?
20, yeah.
Okay. So are you guys okay with? I want to just pull the pin on a grenade, chuck it in, and back out, and let you guys go at it because I'm getting yelled at for interrupting too much. But also, would you guys be okay with the last 10 minutes of the show? We looked at some viewer questions. Is that okay? So can we do 20? Are you guys okay with 25 more minutes or no?
Yeah,
I am. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I just to me.
Wait. Hold on. You good with 25 more
Little
minutes?
compy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's
Dave?
just a little guy.
So I want to let everyone know. Hey, again, I'm getting a lot of shit for being, maybe interrupting too much, but I just want to let people. I try to pick my spots, but what matters most is that these two gentlemen spent Saturday evening with me. 3 dudes on a date on Saturday night. We obviously could have been out there slaying puss like incredible chads like we are. But make sure you check out their channels in the description below. Wits It Gets It has obviously a wide variety of content available, as well as Professor Dave. Please support their channels, and please, independently, if they have Patreons or whatever, support them directly. Obviously, everyone's pissed that I haven't brought up the ice wall, the edge, or the dome. That's the last thing I want to end on. But I did want to ask you about this video. I'm a big SpaceX guy. I'm a big, I'm a big space guy. We're on SpaceX
I'm sorry,
right now.
bro.
Starlink. I know. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a lot of it's fake, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what people say. So when we watch this, I won't watch it, but right. So this was the space jump, right? We can obviously see the Earth is digitally or not curved, right? This guy, jumps out. This is when I think flat Earth. Because I watched this video like in real time because I'm a space dork. Keep that in mind when we discuss. Not that my opinion matters. It's really the viewers' opinions that matter, and then I'll ask them in 5 minutes. So I want to bring up the conversation.
Shit.
Actually, you know
Got a
what?
storm.
Is there something that either one of you, Dave or Austin, that you really want to? Like I fucked up, but I didn't talk about it. Because you've already given a bunch of your time. Should we not talk about the ice wall and the edge or the dome?
Well, I think I already addressed that. We can't freely privately explore there. It's the highest elevation in the world. Some people think that's what it could be.
Talk about.
You
Yeah.
can all go to
You can't fall off the edge of a lake or a pond. We don't know what's beyond it. Could there be more land? Sure. Could there be something containing it that touches down? Sure. We literally can't freely and privately explore it, so we don't know. It's kind of like saying, do you fall off the edge of a lake, though? Like, no,
Make
in order
sure-
it would serve as the shore.
Make
Okay,
sure
well,
you
let
go
me-
to the South Pole with Will. Make sure you get over there.
I'm in. So
Can we address the Felix thing, though, since you brought it up?
go ahead.
Okay, so
He's
yeah, I
talking
guess
about the diver, right? The Felix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it looks like the Earth is a ball, obviously, an extremely small ball,
He's in lower Earth orbit here. He's not.
No, he's not. He's 180,000 feet up, so that's actually very low. And this was sponsored. Real fast. This is sponsored by GoPro. So this is a GoPro fisheye lens. If you look at the video, the angle from inside the cockpit, or whatever you want to call it, you can actually see the horizon's flat. So Neil deGrasse Tyson himself came out and addressed this idea that like people think that Felix was so high that he could see the curvature of the Earth.
That's from the cockpit. That's from the flat.
No, that's not. That's from outside, still using the GoPro.
You can prove it. Admit that is exaggerated curvature.
Yeah.
It's on
the curvature is still there.
Yeah, it's in a squish.
Well, you'd say that, okay, but according to even Neil deGrasse Tyson, you would never see the curvature of the Earth from that height because you'd only be 2 millimeters above a typical blown-up beach ball or whatever. But
what about that?
The point that's important here is I've heard Dave say, and I don't watch Dave, so I'll be honest with you, bro, but like I listened to a few minutes of it earlier. I heard you say something.
You should watch your debunker. That's almost.
No, I've watched some of his older stuff. Okay. It's all the same stuff, bro. But anyway, so this is the problem.
Iterating your position.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with all straw mans. But look, this is what I want to point out. Dave said that this guy was in his balloon and it maintained the momentum due to the conservation of momentum with the spin of the Earth. So when he fell out, he maintained that momentum.
Yeah.
Felix Baumgartner landed like dozens of miles in the opposite direction.
Well, he accelerated though. When you watch this, he did not. He did not maintain his position, right?
Yeah, but if you're spinning underneath him, why would he fall in the opposite direction?
The opposite direction. What's going on while he's falling? Is there no interaction with the atmosphere? Is there absolutely no change in what's going on?
Well, there's not much atmos up that high. You could say once he got down, he started drifting. If that's what you want to claim, I actually looked at the weather data. It seemed like there wasn't much wind. I'm pointing out that your claim that he was just following the Earth is patently false. He fell like 40 miles in the wrong direction.
Okay, well, on a
that
flat
is
Earth,
the curvature of Earth.
Straight up and straight down, so it actually obliterates your position. I don't know what you're gloating about here.
What?
I didn't know this
on
was
a flat Earth,
Earth
they're going
video.
straight up and straight down. Why would there be any discrepancy in where he lands if it was a flat Earth?
Okay, it wouldn't obliterate my position. We can both agree now it has something to do with wind, and your claim that he was just following with the Earth is ridiculous and stupid and
like
not true.
Ridiculous and stupid. That's obscene. But I think much more importantly,
That was your claim.
what you absolutely can't explain is why that guy fell down.
Digestive process.
Oh my
The
gosh.
entire health of
Oh
the
my
animal
God. Yeah,
Oh, the
depends
gravity
on its
cover.
ability to
Gravity. Let's do it. Gravity. Let's talk about it.
You see a
Let's.
broken
Yeah,
tooth, we need to repair it.
because he has
Even if dinosaurs
weight
don't like going
when
to
he's
the
more
depths.
dense in the air and he went
What
down.
is weight?
It is mass times gravity. Mass is volume times density times downward acceleration. Gravity is little g, which is just downward acceleration, 9.8
due
meters
to
per
the
second
mass
square,
of the
which you
Earth.
falsely claimed that we can't derive, but you can do that with a kinematic equation, strictly a kinematic equation.
Get me
Yes, you can.
9.81 meters per second squared without using the mass of the Earth.
Literally, you can do it with a kinematic equation. It's also been done with
See it? Where is it?
Yeah, initial height, velocity, and time will give you the same exact 9.8 meter per second value. That's just the effect. Did you know that 9.8 meters per second squared is just the effect? It isn't even like the claimed cause.
What do you mean the claim?
So-
It's a value. It's an acceleration due to the mass of the Earth. That's why G changes with radius, with elevation on different celestial bodies. That's why G is different on the moon. It's different on Mars. You think that's all fake, of course, but yeah. So, very very simply, you cannot explain why things fall down. You just can't do it.
I can.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Everything. It's more dense than the air, and so the question would be,
So,
why is there up?
Why does it go down?
Why is it down? That's your
It is
question.
less dense
Yeah.
too. The air above it is less dense. Should fall up.
Why is it? What? Dude,
air above an
you're
object.
more dense than the air. It doesn't matter if the air above you is less dense than the air
Well,
below
why does it go down? This air is less dense. In fact, this air is even less dense than this air. Why does it go
Okay,
up?
why would that mean it goes down?
What do you mean, why does that mean? Because the mass of the Earth. The mass of the Earth is the things fall. The reason
You
that things fall
don't,
down.
dude. Helium. Why does helium rise?
Because it's less dense than air.
There you go. It's
So
less dense than the other air.
Gravity
Okay.
pulls the air
Okay.
down more than the helium.
That's
It's the
what
same
you
reason
think.
the beach ball goes up in the air, in the water.
You're just reifying your belief, and this is what's even funnier.
Reify.
Well,
How is it
listen, dude.
reification? I'm not doing anything abstract and turning it.
Yeah, because you have a
Crazy as
concept.
shit.
You have a concept of gravity in your mind, and you're attributing concreteness to it, and just assuming it's true by treating the concept as
to
if it's
assume
actual.
anything, because I
Gravity's
know
not
that it's
real,
exclusively an
bro.
effect based on mass and not electromagnetism as you pretend. You absolutely cannot cannot use electromagnetism to explain anything that gravity explains. You can't.
I never said electromagnetism. There's a downward electric current on the Earth. This is actually another falsification of the globe. We have a
electricity
uniform.
and magnetism are not part of the same thing. What do you mean, not electromagnetism?
We have a vertical electric field on the Earth, and it has a 100 volt per meter increase. It's equipotential increase. It's a vertical electric field. It's a vertical electric field, and it's uniform. And so we have 100 volts per meter. Now that's impossible. That's impossible.
It's not.
Does it increase 100 volts per meter?
No, it dissipates with elevation, which is why Felix can't be falling down due to electromagnetism.
Does it increase 100 volts per meter?
For like 100 meters.
No. No, your model claims it's like 50 miles.
Okay, look, even if whatever
you're so wrong about everything.
Why doesn't anything fall up, Austin? Why doesn't anything fall up? Electromagnetism is both attractive and repulsive, right? So some things are attracted to the Earth. Why isn't anything repelled from the Earth? Why doesn't it fall up to the other Gaussian surface or whatever you want to talk about? Why doesn't it fall up?
So first of all, radial distribution of a sphere would not allow you to have equipotential parallel surfaces that are 100 volts per meter.
Why does it?
No, I'm finishing my point. Then I'm just letting the audience hear the conclusion of the point. So that's the conclusion of the point that they previously avoided, which is that radial distribution of a sphere could not replicate what we have on the Earth. But you said, why don't things go up? You mentioned my middle school experiment, or whatever you called it, right, where I actually made something lift, and I did it with iron filings. I did it with multiple different materials, even insulators. So you said that doesn't count, and I can't make big objects.
Yeah, why
make big okay.
Hey,
did
look,
you know that physics scales?
The bigger an object is, the more charged particles there are in it, right? So the effect should be greater. Why can't you do it with a rock or a person? Why don't we see anything fall up ever?
Because you would have to increase the amount of, say, electrostatics you introduce proportionate to its weight, which is, again, mass, which is volume times density relative to the pressure mediation of the atmos. Wait. My question is,
Yum.
What did I say that was words out?
All of it. You're just saying all of it. I'm asking you guys to in a field, particles of opposite charges are accelerated in opposite directions, right? So why can't you make anything fall up? Why doesn't anything on the Earth fall up? It's a very simple question.
I'm trying to explain it.
A lot of people fail up. I'm just saying.
Now, here's a funny little
I'm trying to make it's really a simple concept. So when you have something that has weight, that's volume times density. Okay, that's mass, and then volume times density times acceleration. Little g is just downward acceleration, just an effect. So whenever that's the case, that pressure mediates
acceleration due to gravity.
That's what you guys believe. That's what he thinks. Okay. Little g is just the effect. It isn't exclusive to any belief. Okay. Well, everyone keeps invoking little g as if it's proof of, I guess, the bending and warping of space and time or whatever.
We don't even have to go with electricity. I
know you can't go that route. Trust me. We know.
Well, no, you can. Relativity is one of the most corroborated theories in the history of science, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's not.
You can just use Newton. Well, it is.
It was falsified in 1933. Fritz Zwicky was off by 99%.
Definitely, it was never.
Let me ask this question, dude. It's a simple question. You said that my experiment doesn't do anything. In reality, what I did was manipulate the electric field, and then it caused the objects to go up, even though that they were heavier than the air.
What you did was apply an enormous electric field to overwhelm the effects of gravity. You took a different force, electromagnetism, to overwhelm gravity for a teeny tiny little object. Right. Once again, what I just said, a very massive object, a lot of matter, has more charged particles. In my body, there are many, many more charged particles than a tiny piece of styrofoam.
What about
the effect be greater? Can't we accelerate up? Can't we levitate? Can't we fly? Why not?
I just have a simple question. You won't let me get it out because you know you won't let me answer.
I just answered it.
Ask the question then. Ask the question.
Okay, I've tried like 3 times. It's simple. You're saying that doesn't count because I can't do it with bigger objects.
Yeah.
Do you know that physics scales?
Yeah, so a larger object, more charged particles, the effect should be greater. Why doesn't anything?
So you agree though that if I do the same principle on a bigger scale, if I increase the force proportionate to the object, I would be able to make things go up. And your claim that you can't do it with bigger objects is completely ridiculous, non sequitur.
You would be countering gravity. I'm
talking about
gravity
again.
Stop saying reification. Do you have any idea how dumb you sound when you say reification?
Come on.
Okay.
You're just begging the question over and over, dude. You're just saying,
fellas. We're bringing it home.
You can only do this with a Van der Graaf generator because you are applying an external field to overwhelm gravity. You're saying that out there in the world, it's all electrostatic, so we shouldn't need a Van der Graaf generator. Out there in the world, where this is an electromagnetic effect, and we know that electromagnetism is both attractive and repulsive, out there in the world, why doesn't anything fall up ever?
Okay, first of all, depending on the environment, say like your hair will stick up during thunderstorms, bumblebees literally do something called non-contact pollen detachment. They fly over top of the flowers and the pollen levitates. Literally, there is naturally occurring phenomena that's based on the electric field of the Earth. You're saying we're adding an external force? No, we're manipulating the force that's already... Let me finish. We're manipulating the force that's already there. I didn't add anything. Everything that exists is electrostatic, right, which on the smallest scale is 10 to 36 power stronger than your belief in gravity, and all molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic. That means all objects that exist are held together by that. So you're acting like I'm adding something that wasn't there. No, I'm just manipulating what was there. Now you do the same thing with your belief in gravity. Isolate gravity and prove it's true.
Yeah, things only fall down. That's it. Well, I'm asking you why things don't fall up. All you're doing is citing, a bumblebee does something. These are all teeny tiny objects where electrostatics can overwhelm the effect of gravity. Why doesn't a rock fall up, or a person, or a car, or anything ever?
Let me ask this.
Because the pressure mediated by the density relationship in the wake makes it go down. It's very simple.
Okay. I feel like you both...
Those sure were words.
Okay, so...
Dude, that's a pretty bad look.
Well, hold on.
It is a bad look for you.
All right, hold on, gentlemen. What I want to say is that you both have been extremely well behaved and entertaining.
Lack of amenities.
I want to let
guests
the viewers, of which there are many thousands, get in for a few minutes. But do I dare bring up Cavendish? Do I dare bring up, because that is a point of contention, right? Of that matter attracts matter, right? That disproves gravity, right? Like, I'm a very large fat man, very attractive young, but not young. Why did I say young? That's creepy. Very attractive thin women are often attracted to me. But the let's actually not go down that. Let's not go down that road. It's probably too complicated. I want to let people.
Yeah, because everything's electrostatic. It's way stronger than gravity's going to be.
I'm way down on everything.
They shield for electrostatics.
If you have a lot of questions like that, it's like, we can have a conversation in the future, man, whether it's streamed or not.
It's maybe down the rabbit hole too far.
I just want to, this is the only thing that I really want to know, Dave, before we move on, bro. Like,
all right, go ahead.
You said you didn't think the numbers were correct, whatever, you dismissed it. Then you said maybe there's some type of atmospheric effect. Do you agree, though, that refraction is the bending of light, which means that a silhouette can't be refracted because it is the absence of light?
What?
Can a silhouette be refracted?
If you're seeing something, there's light traveling to your eyes. So
sure, but the mountain should be below the curve of the Earth, right? But we're seeing the silhouette once it gets backlit, which means you need a line of sight to the physical object blocking the light.
I don't know, man.
So we
you're doing. I saw a thing. Therefore, everything we know about physics and science in general is wrong. It's just not going to fly.
Dave concedes defeat. You heard it here first.
Okay,
the Earth is flat. Everybody knows now. Dave concedes.
It's so easy to go against flat Earth and just dismiss all the uncomfortable evidence and ask about
it's not uncomfortable evidence. You just make up bullshit.
Like just ask about random things that we were taught when we were 5. Like, well, then how does this work? And like, whatever. I mean,
I ask very simple things like why does the night sky rotate in opposite directions in opposite hemispheres? You have yet to answer that. You have
answered it directly.
Okay, go ahead. Repeat
that. If you look a different way, it'll rotate a different way.
I said first of all, you have to verify cardinal direction, which when we go to the south, we actually use immense magnetic declination corrections, which could be skewing where you think you're viewing. That's just a
celestial pole. Looking at the celestial pole with your eyeball.
Let him finish.
That's just a fact. And
he's
then
just scalping. It's just word salad. He's just saying words to deflect.
Dude, stop using the term word salad. You don't know what it means.
It means you're just saying words that aren't saying anything, which is what you're doing. That's what it means, and that's what you do. Right?
But you can never give specific examples of when I did it.
Just now, what you just did. I'm asking.
I said that magnetic declination.
What does that have to do
in the
with
south? What?
What does it have to do with what I'm asking you?
You have to determine your cardinal direction, and then the second part is because magnetic declination corrections are immense in the south.
You're confused
that
about
makes
what
it
I'm
very
asking you.
difficult to
This isn't
verify
the
cardinal
cross
direction.
directions thing. I'm asking you about rotating counterclockwise versus clockwise. You have yet to answer that.
He's going all the
Okay,
way
you need
back,
to determine.
just so the viewers know. Hold on, you guys are both being really great, by the way. Like, you're being very respectful, and I appreciate that. Dave, I believe, is going back to his literal.
The first thing I said.
The very first thing you said. Yeah, the globe.
This is all recorded. I tried to answer it the first time he asked it. He interrupted 7 times. I've
You
answered
said
it 3
if I
times.
look in a different direction, it'll magically spin the other way. That's not how things work.
no,
If you put
I
a clock
said
on the ceiling,
specific-
it's gonna go clockwise no matter which way you face. Sorry,
I
buddy.
said that we see, this does require using visualizations to understand it. We see in a little dome. It's called an azimuthal grid. You can go to Stellarium. That's how we map the stars. We have a zenith position, an azimuth position, and we measure elevation angles. When you do that 360, it gives you a dome. That's how we view the sky. NASA themselves have articles talking about how we see the sky to be a dome. We have an equidistant limit of vision. It's like a little dome. If you were to replicate that with a bunch of spinning stars and you looked out towards the edge of this dome, it's going to make them look like they're converging and spinning around the central point, even though they're literally not doing that. We have replicated
How does it
it.
spin the
Therefore,
other way
we
in the
would
other
expect to see it just like crepuscular and anti-crepuscular rays. When the sun's setting in the west, it'll look like it's in the east at the same time, and the rays will converge to a point, even though it's just based on perspective.
Okay.
That isn't objectively a viable answer for the star trails.
It's not a viable answer. You're just saying words like crepuscular and perspective to appease flat earthers who have no idea what you're talking about, because you cannot answer how things rotate counterclockwise in one hemisphere and clockwise in the other.
You know what anti-crepuscular rays are?
Explained perfectly by this model. It turns.
You know what
this way.
anti-crepuscular rays are?
Well, tell me what they are. Go ahead.
So you called it word salad, but it's just that you don't understand the terms.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter,
so-
but you're just taking it's a jumble of words. It's not that each word doesn't mean something. It's not just literal gibberish and syllables. You're taking words that are words and putting them together to make a salad, like your lettuce and your croutons and your things like that. That's why I tell you of yum yum word salad. You cannot explain what is can you concede that this makes perfect sense visually, intuitively,
Just like
just
jumps
spatially?
into me.
Can you at least concede that this makes
I already
more
did.
sense than what you're saying?
No. I mean, I will say that
Dinosaur
if it
threat.
is exactly south, yeah, of course, that's what the globe predicts. But we
You're
made the
admitting,
globe model.
you're admitting
Interested
that
in
the
a
globe
dinosaur
Earth
with an
explanation
extremely
for
long
the
tail?
way we see stars
This
moving in the sky
dinosaur's for you.
makes more
It's
sense
called the
than
Sauropelta.
everything you just said
Covered in
using
bony
random
armor,
buzzwords
it
that
has
you.
No, I
long
didn't say
spines
that.
projecting
But
from its
this
neck.
is the point I want to make here too. Look,
is
Dave had to
relatively
deny
calm
that the
animal
default
when placed in the
position
right environment.
is that the Earth's a stationary plane.
It's not the default
That is a
position.
fact.
No,
That is
it's
literally
not
a fact. So
That's just a thing you say.
wait. Whenever we fly a plane, do we treat the Earth like it's flat?
It doesn't matter. We're just flying.
Oh.
We're not talking about the shape
Well,
of the
okay,
Earth.
hold on,
You're just
hold on.
traveling.
If
it's a default
that's
position.
true, hold on, Austin. If that's true, as the debunkers point out, when you fly on the southern hemisphere, or why do planes take direct routes as opposed to following the flat Earth map? Because it takes the same time to fly from Australia. I think what is the example you used, Dave?
Sydney to Santiago,
Sydney
over the
to
Pacific
Santiago.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this one because we didn't get to it.
It's always obfuscation away from the point that the actual
asked the
physical
question.
flying of the plane
We're not
requires a
we're
flat
not getting
stationary.
anywhere. So he asked the question. I'm going with him.
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
Diagnosis
All
is
right.
that this
Okay, but yeah,
animal is
I know
bleeding
all the
internally.
debunks. They're not
You take
debunks are with me
action
sitting
now,
in this chair
or
right
the
now.
animal
They
dies.
are. You can't explain.
No,
that
okay, I'll
right.
just go ahead and explain it. So if you say you fly from Sydney to Santiago, one direction actually takes significantly longer than the other return flight.
How much?
It objectively does.
Have headwinds back way. It's like 30 minutes. That's all.
No, there are flights that are up to 3-hour difference. Okay, that's a
How would I
fact.
look it up?
Now, everyone can verify everything I'm saying, and you can go to 24-hour flight radar and look at the data. You can go to 24-hour flight radar, look at the data. What you'll see is it says the plane's going, say, 550 miles per hour, right? On the globe, obviously, you just have a similar distance both ways, but if the time is different, they're obviously not going the same speed. So what that proves, like a speed equals distance over time. So what that proves is that the data we're being given about how fast that plane goes is wrong. You can Google plane goes 800 miles per hour, and there will be articles talking about planes catching jet streams.
Got it.
Wait. Okay, but planes can't. No, you don't. It's ridiculous. You guys
That
see it?
distance is like triple or quadruple the distance that makes sense for the amount of time it takes. So are you going to pretend that there's some that crazy wind or personal tornado that makes it fly quadruple the speed to get it over
the
there?
hurricane.
And also, why doesn't it go the route that makes sense on the flat Earth? Why doesn't it go that way?
Okay, first, if you assume the Earth's a globe with a projection, that doesn't prove the Earth's a globe, and it doesn't. So you're asking me, are the pilots in on it? No, the pilots aren't in on it. I know tons of flat Earth pilots. They weren't. They thought the Earth was a globe. Most of their
flat Earth pilots. That's a lie.
Well,
see, this is what I'm saying. You have to lie about stuff like that.
You're
dude.
the one
It's so
lying.
weird.
There's no flat Earth pilots. Ask any pilot if the Earth is flat. They'll laugh in your face.
I know.
They all take
multiple.
great circle routes. They take great circle routes that are.
Can a circle exist on a flat Earth?
My wife is a pilot.
No, a great circle.
Does anybody want to talk to me? My wife's a pilot.
Yeah, what does she think? Bring her in.
She does.
Dude, I have an Air Force pilot that reached out to me of 30 years. That's a fuck.
Cool. That's true. Totally.
I don't want to.
See what I'm saying? You have to deny basic reality.
Why is it so crazy to think that you could be making that up on the spot?
But what I'm saying,
hold on a second. Either I let these guys go at it for 10 more minutes, or we answer viewer questions.
I feel like we've gone good time.
I feel like we're there, right? Yeah, we're there. So I want to pick a few of these. I'll stick around live for a few minutes after I let these guys go. I want to just like give a digital. I mean, I don't care what side you're on. Thank you both for being here and for being so passionate and being so engaged, and being just great. Obviously people are going to think whatever they want to think, but I hope people are entertained. There are many tens of thousands, but there's over 15,000 people watching. So a lot of people are entertained on a Saturday night, and they could have been watching some garbage. So this is obviously much better. I will read them all after I let these gentlemen get out their Saturday nights, but I wanted to pick some that I thought.
Can we do like a 6-second closing or something at some point?
Absolutely. I'll do a 2-minute, and then because you guys should we coin flip for who goes last? It's like a criminal trial, right? So generally the prosecution goes last. But I'll just say
I'm indifferent.
Okay. Well, then we'll let Dave go first. Someone says, make Dave define one thing in detail that Austin has said is word salad. Well, he did that. I think he did do that.
It's not that he's using words that aren't real. It's that he's stringing together words in a way that isn't saying anything.
Give an example.
Scientific terminology. I can't remember if he didn't say anything, so it doesn't really stick. Right?
The definition of word salad is incoherent rambling, typically associated with schizophrenia. So if I was saying, yo, chicken, yesterday, sunset, whatever, dude. The fact you didn't understand the terms like anti-crepuscular rays and anisotropic and magnetic declination doesn't make it word salad. It means you need to go inform yourself what the words mean.
I'm saying that those words don't pertain to any kind of explanation for what I was talking about. Magnetic declination isn't going to explain away looking at an object in the sky, seeing that it rotates a particular direction, going to the other hemisphere and seeing that it rotates in the other direction.
Now you're trying to rebut my argument. You're trying to rebut my argument, but that doesn't mean to do that. Don't just dismiss the argument as word salad. It's basically vocalizing inept vocabulary skills and bragging about it. It's super weird.
It's pointing out that you use a bunch of terminology rapid fire to make it sound like you know what you're talking about, to trick people into thinking that you know what you're talking about. Somebody
said this. I have a challenge for both Dave and Austin. Using your preferred method, model the Earth universe derived to the 9.8 meters per second. It's indisputable that falling objects accelerate towards the ground at that acceleration. Gravity is true. I'm a physics guy, so I think I don't want to like every question somebody asks. I don't want to like devolve into like a 20-minute, but I think Dave would say gravity, and Witsit would say density, right? Like, but the 9.8 meters per second is consistent. It doesn't matter if it's a bowling ball.
The point is that it's derived from Newton's law of universal gravitation, and you need the mass of the Earth in there. If gravity was electromagnetism, the mass of the Earth wouldn't be a factor.
And we will give it.
You can get it from electrostatics. If you look at Gauss's law, it's a very similar relationship. But what's funny is it actually doesn't always fall at 9.8 meters per second squared. That is an agreed upon average. It's close to that. It's close to that. No, in a vacuum it changes. There's something called gravimeter measurements, which is a vacuum-sealed chamber with interferometry measuring a BB fall, and it'll fluctuate above 9.81. Right now it's decimal points, but the point is that it fluctuates at specific times when the electric field changes, even inside of a vacuum-sealed chamber. So yeah, to claim it doesn't have anything to do with electric field is insane. Prove that it's space-time bending and warping, or we're winning because we can physically prove it's electric. So until you can prove another claim, you don't have the upper edge at all. It's actually the other way around.
You cannot do anything with electromagnetism to demonstrate this. You cannot take objects of differing properties, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. Why does it not matter at all what the composition of an object is? It all falls 9.81 meters per second squared, not as the average, right? I know it varies depending on altitude and radius of the Earth where you are locally, but you cannot demonstrate any discrepancy. Take any object, a bar magnet, a iron, ferromagnetic iron, anything. Show me that it does anything different than what anything else does that's neutral. Wouldn't it interact with the field in a different way?
Actually, the drop tower test that was done in Europe at, I believe, a university, and they showed different elements falling at different rates. And so, this is the truth, though, that the electric field that creates a downward electric current of 10 microamps per meter, so it's very small, and it's very nearly constant. So we don't expect the downward pressure to change much. That's a real verifiable part of physics. I can go out and measure it and manipulate it and make things float. Can you prove that space-time is bending and warping?
No,
of course not.
To what you
can just assume.
No, you absolutely can. Relativity is very well corroborated, but you have absolutely zero ability, right? Opposite charges accelerate in opposite directions in an electric field, right? So why
blowing my mind.
Fall up?
Okay, because when the object is more dense, density is the compactness of matter. So what holds the matter together? It's electrostatic charges that gives it a compactness. Literally, all molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. And if you call that word salad, that's insane because that's just a direct quote.
No, it is word salad because you're not answering the question. You're
it's a direct quote from Purdue University, dude.
Purdue? What?
I just quoted Purdue verbatim. So this is the problem with listening to people like this guy. They're just going to dismiss it as word salad. You can't have an intellectually honest conversation.
You're just it's just random. It's just random words. You just said density. I'm asking you why nothing falls up, and you answered density. Air is less dense here. Air is less dense here. In fact, this air is less dense than this air because it becomes less dense at elevation. Why does it fall down?
It's still less dense than the object in all scenarios, Dave. Do you not know that? Even in a vacuum, it's still more dense than the environment or the medium, right? It doesn't matter if it's a little bit less dense, the object's still more dense.
Down because the mass of the Earth is below it. So why doesn't anything accelerate upwards? Why doesn't anything fly to the other Gaussian surface? Why isn't anything repelled by the Earth?
Because there's a downward electric current.
Electromagnetism.
There's a downward electric.
Flip the current. Why? What about a lightning strike?
Because you can't manipulate the entire Earth.
When the lightning strikes, does something there suddenly fly up to the cloud? There's a reversal of polarity there. Why is it that you can't get anything to fall up?
Okay, you cannot flip the entire electric field of the Earth. Now, it's important to be analogous to...
Right there, right under the lightning bolt, something can fly up. No?
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I know that it's late. I'm going to give you both. First of all, a huge round of applause. Please, everyone in chat who's currently... The chat is just as hinged as I thought it would be.
Wait, hinged or unhinged?
I mean, I unhinged.
Yeah. Unhinged, yeah, I would have said.
But I really, really appreciate both of you being on. This is incredible. Super entertaining.
I've got all these, and I did double check all the... No, dude, I did not. Crap, I got stuff in here still. Oh, look at this! Dude, I'm a freaking... I need to come back here. Hold on, before I do anything else. Oh my gosh. Look at all... Oh my... Ah, I feel like an idiot. Hey, welcome back, everybody. The Accidental Survivor here, and we're back with another episode of Miss Survival. And we got, what's his name? Leo? Leo still here? What do we have that we can feed him? Where's my tab? Or my inventory? Let's go get a piece of dried meat. I just want to feed him a little bit. This one's at, they're all kind of like 90, 93, 94, whatever. Let's put that in there. And let's go give him some food just because I want to. So let's see.
Assets being transported.
Train to Busan.
This one's a bit more esoteric. It's my word of the week. Supreme Court strikes down Chevron, curtailing power of federal agencies. Why this matters? When they tried implementing a vaccine mandate at the federal level for all companies with at least, 100 employees, it was under this precedent set by the Supreme Court, I think in 1984, that federal agencies can interpret the law as they choose. The ATF has used it to create bans on things like they tried banning the pistol braces, saying, you know what, we believe this is the case. And we argued this on the show. You can't just decide a law is. But that was the precedent. Supreme Court said no. Now it's going to be back to the courts. They say, by a vote of 6-3, the justices overruled the landmark decision Chevron v. Natural Resources Defense Council, which gave rise to the doctrine known as the Chevron Doctrine. Under that doctrine, if Congress had not directly addressed the question at the center of the dispute, a court was required to uphold the agency's interpretation of the statute as long as it was reasonable. But in a 35-page ruling, Chief Justice John Roberts said it was fundamentally misguided. Elena Kagan dissented in an opinion joined by Justices Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Notice it's always the evil justices, the left ones who are trying to... In what reality is it constitutional to accept that a bureaucratic agency can make law? The ATF said, we hereby decree pistol braces illegal, and if you own them, you will go to prison. So you know what we had to do when they passed this rule? I said, okay, I talked to my lawyer, and he says, take the braces off and remove them. Separate them from the domicile in which they are stored, and then you are allowed to have them, just not attached to the weapon. So I have to make these changes based on the federal government bureaucracy decreeing that is not how this country is supposed to operate. Surprise, surprise, the liberal justices are evil. But there you go. There you go. They say, although the Chevron decision upheld Reagan-era EPA interpretation of the Clean Air Act, blah, 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 was generally hailed by conservatives at the time, the ruling eventually became a target of those seeking to curtail the administrative state. And so here we are. This may be, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest changes to happen in government, one of the biggest victories for those that believe in freedom and oppose big government. The idea that the agencies now cannot act of their own whim. Did you get it?
Oh, dang it. I'm too slow with the pillow, sorry.
But now it's your turn to talk, so...
We're talking about the three-letter agencies, Fly, F-L-Y, should die. No. I don't know. The Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't even know what a woman is. She's not a biologist. So,
basically, this means if the ATF wants to ban something, they can't just do it. They can't issue an executive rule where they're like, you can't have... they said you can't have short-barreled rifles, so we think pistol braces are. Nope. Now they're going to have to be like, we can't do that. Congress has to act. And the courts have to decide.
The next is to repeal the NFA completely. Because all gun laws are fake and gay.
Well, I think I'm hoping that Hunter Biden can actually get a lot of this overturned. If Hunter Biden... I got him!
You got it!
I got him!
I saw it zap.
Somewhere Mike Pence is crying.
Yeah,
Did you hear the snap?
Yeah.
Saw it.
Anyway, what were we talking about? I got the fly.
Hunter Biden's going to save gun laws in America.
Yeah, someone explain that. I'm going to check on the fly.
Okay, I will, but I any 2A person in the audience knows I'm going to fumble this, but I support you guys. I hope you're doing well. So, Hunter Biden was convicted of falsely filling out this federal form because it said, are you addicted to drugs? And he said, no, not currently, even though he had just gotten out of rehab and was about to go buy crack cocaine, but I digress. But the argument is that the form is unconstitutional. It violates Second Amendment rights, which I actually sympathize with enormously. And it's this weird dynamic now where Hunter Biden has been convicted of something, but actually a lot of conservatives feel as though the crime on which he was convicted is actually unconstitutional. And so hypothetically, he is now, his appeal on this case, which again, hypothetically, could go all the way to the Supreme Court and challenge this law that he has been convicted on, would be backed by 2A people, but have Hunter Biden as the poster child as he turns around and says, "Get away from me, I'm a Democrat." It's fascinating.
So this thing's got a button on it, and when you press it, there's metal on the outside protecting you, but in the inside, so the fly was still alive when I went down there.
Oh wow!
It was trying to get up, and so you press the button, and I whacked it, and you could see the spark, and now it's done.
There was an additional.
I've saved the show.
There was an additional Supreme Court
We are
case
not
for
using
2A
solid
rights
walls
where,
anymore.
again, heroes, unsung heroes, right? Hunter Biden shouldn't be posted where everybody is. Another case was
you don't get to pick them.
You don't get to pick them. They just so another case was there was a guy domestic abuse, red flag. They took his guns, but that's not. You can't do that. That's not been passed, right?
Well,
So that's also a case they were hearing, and that might get overturned as well. Or even if you hit a girl, they can't come take your gun.
Well, it was that. So he had the case. At least when I read this one, because it was a man in Texas, and he had hypothetically. I'm afraid to speak on it too much because I don't know what the convictions have been like. But he had been, allegedly beaten his girlfriend up in a parking lot, and then threatened her with a gun afterwards, saying, if I'll attack you if you tell anyone. And he hadn't been convicted of anything, but there had been a domestic violence restraining order issued. And so the question was, like, if you have a DV restraining order, should you be allowed to have a gun? And Clarence Thomas was the lone dissent there, and he said, look, if he hasn't been convicted, we can't do anything, right? It's different if you have been convicted of a violent crime versus if you are just hypothetically accused of something. And I actually thought that was interesting because obviously the instinct is to be like, dude, if you beat up your girlfriend, you're a terrible person and you're a threat. But if you haven't been convicted, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, they took all of my guns. Didn't even have a violent charge. All of them. And this was during the time.
Back?
Oh, yes. It took me quite a while. Now I buy a new gun every month.
Wow.
Your grocery bill and gun bill must be
I know. You got a gun for every kid.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, listen, the Second Amendment should be protected. These red flag laws, Eye Patch McCain loves red flag laws. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Joe Biden even says our guns are pointless because they can shoot us with F-16s. So, I don't know.
Well, I love when he says stuff like that because it's the stupidest thing imaginable.
Yeah.
Are we on F-35s now?
Was it F-35? I don't even know.
No, because he's mentioning 16s, but those were like 3 decades ago. We're on 35s now.
But I just like to, whenever they bring that up, I'm just like, Afghanistan called, Joe. Yeah, it's a bunch of goat herders in caves. It is ground forces that win wars. You can clear the battlefield. You can gain control. You can take out infrastructure with powerful siege weapons. But you need human beings to do the groundwork. Biden has no idea what he's talking about. It's the stupidest talking point ever.
Well, what about all those videos in Russia and Ukraine of them using drones to kill each other? Do you think that's the future of warfare?
That will not secure. So sending in, it is. And I warned the government. I literally warned the government 13 years ago, 12 years ago, when I was part of the North American Drone Coalition or whatever. We were doing some of the earliest drone work with these consumer-grade drones that we were hacking to broadcast video. And I got asked by the U.S. government and universities who were trying to figure out how consumer-grade drones are going to affect everything. So we were trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we handle this? How should they operate? What are the rules? And the first thing I told them was, I think you guys need to consider what happens when someone with a range of 3 miles launches one of these things into a city. There's no way to stop it. And if it's carrying something, let's just say dangerous, like, how do you deal with that? And they were just like, we don't know. And I'm like, I got to be honest, you can't. Once that thing is launched and it's in the city, whatever they put on it, it's there. Even if you knock this thing down, if you blast it with microwaves, if you fire a net at it, if you launch confetti, if you get a tracking drone to chase after it, whatever it brought is there. So yes, however, let's say you got a nuclear power plant and you want to secure that. Ain't no drone's going to secure it for you. You need human beings. Now, drones make it easy to deal with human beings, but humans are going to create. I think actually combating drone warfare will be not too difficult. Scrambling, hacking, frying.
Move.
You can easily get. Blinding these things. They don't fly well at night. It's very difficult. So I think there's ways to counter it. But if you want to secure a nuclear power plant, you're going to need some humans to go in the building and gain access to it. And that's all that matters. Your drone's not going to be able to do it.
What about AI taking people's
get out
jobs?
of the
What's a bigger
way.
threat, drone bombs or artificial intelligence running the world, Tim?
I think AI is the apocalypse. I think
it's a demonic supercomputer, basically.
I don't know about that. I just think that what's going to happen is, we were talking about OnlyFans earlier and how these women are basically removing themselves from a productive economy and they're producing nothing. Guys are then spending money. Like, there's a certain amount of food in the economy, a certain amount of money. Money is used to buy the food. It's a representation of the value of the labor, but we now have it now represents debt instead. And then money is created upon issuance of debt. So when we're in this wacky system, this is why we have weird inflation. They set it up a long time ago. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I can tell you this, at the very least, you cannot exist in a system. This is a lesson for AOC as well when she calls for deficit spending. If the output is greater than the input, your system collapses.
Okay, that's
Thank you and
it.
have a nice day.
Everyone,
kill
them all.
The issue with AI, much like OnlyFans, is that you are going to have people. You're going to have one of the first things I see happening is someone's going to create an AI that will give you whatever you want for money. And what's being value? What's the value? Like, what are you getting from it? Nothing. So let's start here. AI can mass produce photos and videos. The videos are getting incredible. And we're a year away from clean, clear video. Photos can already generate full text. That was a big thing they were screwing up with last year. Photographers for music, background music and stock music, gone. I will never. It's done. It happened. We used to, 10 years ago, I remember going to these audio libraries. Epidemic Sound was a big one for YouTube. You'd spend X amount of dollars per month for a subscription to music you could use in your videos. Don't need it anymore. For free, or for like 10 cents, I go to suno.com and I type in hip-hop, electric beat, and coffee commercial. And then it gives me a song. It's mine. I can use it. Nobody made it. Whoever has the AI is going to get the money, but it's going to start... This process starts centralizing revenue into the hands of a single corporation or one company that can produce all media. It's going to eliminate tons of jobs. People are going to end up... we're 3-4 years away. VR has gotten so great. You are going to open up your VR. You're going to put your headset on. You're going to be in your like you have a bedroom in your house. Maybe it's like 20 feet by 20 feet or whatever. You draw the lines in your VR so you know where your walls are. And then you say, AI game, give me a game where I'm a sheriff in the Wild West and the bandits are coming. And give me a good storyline with a great love interest. The video game itself will render and you'll be in VR. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.
You heard it. Watch Tim Pool.
You understand that?
I'll sock you in your face! I would like to do nothing for the police!
Las Vegas, baby!
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, yes.
Get the chair. I don't know what prison you came from, but that's not how stuff runs here.
I got Sly, what's up?
Take a what's
Put your hands on the wall. Put your hands on the wall. What's up?
Well, you got yourself in a heck of a predicament here, trying to slide your cuffs. Why were you trying to slide your cuffs in front of you?
Calm down enough to be able to be walked through the booking process.
We received a call a little while ago from a Portland officer saying that they had someone they were bringing into custody that was causing lots of problems. What's his name?
He's got a few warrants. He told us that if he had a gun, he'd shoot us. He's pretty drunk.
Okay.
I'm on the right side. He's been kicking and spitting in the back of the car.
Don't drag me out, please.
John, are you going to cooperate?
Please don't drag me out.
John, we don't want to drag you out of the car if you'll cooperate.
My legs don't work that good. I can't move. Can I get out of this side?
That side? That's fine, John.
Step out. Okay.
I already busted my head open.
Okay, well, we got a nurse that'll take a look at you.
Okay, we just want you to listen to our simple directions, John, okay?
Okay, we'll do that. Do that.
Come over here so we can search you. Face the counter. Do you normally carry needles?
No, I don't do that.
Okay, well, we gotta ask you.
Hey, John, are you suicidal?
On his leg here.
Are you diabetic?
All right, you want to take the handcuffs off?
All right, sir, go spread your feet for me, please. Sir,
Yes.
John, go spread your feet. There you
Can't
go.
spread them that far now. Please don't.
I'm not, we're not. I just want you to spread your feet, that's all.
No, please.
John.
My legs. Don't, please.
John, just spread your legs.
Don't spread them that far, dude.
I have to. I have to search you, okay, John? I have to spread them that far so I can search you.
Don't spread them that far.
All right, John, stay searched. Put your hand on the counter. Lift your foot up. Put your foot up. Bend the knee. There you go.
I'm gonna pass out, dude. I am.
Too close to the Dilophosaurus.
Trying to give you an option so you can get through the process.
All right, John, sit down there. Sit down. Sit down. John, sit down. There you go.
All right. That was easy.
All right.
So basically, we put him in an isolation cell. He came in, he's very intoxicated. They picked him up for drinking in public. He had some warrants for his arrest. I think they also charged him with something else, I'm not exactly sure. But just in order to keep it safe down here for us, we put him in isolation cell. John, why are you banging?
Put him off my bedroll, dude. That's all up. I gotta go down some place down and pick it up, huh?
They probably, well... Okay. No, we don't need to talk to him for a while. So, obviously we made a good choice. He's gonna chill out in the side room. Step right over here.
Yeah.
I face the counter. Move your feet apart. Face the counter. Have you been drinking tonight?
Energy drink.
You been on any drugs? Put your hand on the counter.
Am I gonna have to stay here or what?
Well, it just depends on. You don't have stable housing.
I gotta go to work tonight.
Okay. Take all your jackets off. Place them up on the counter. Your face is awfully red. You sure you didn't take any drugs?
No.
Not at all?
I've been working double shifts.
Is that your paycheck?
Yeah, you broke my string on my coat, man.
Well, he couldn't get the knot undone. Because the string in your
You guys
coat...
are destroying my property now.
Listen.
No, that's messed up.
I'm going to explain it to you,
No,
okay?
that's messed up. No.
No, that's not messed up. It's
Yeah,
policy.
it is. Yeah, you guys destroyed my property, man.
Nobody destroyed anything.
Yeah, you did. It's broken.
Sheriff says we got to take all loose strings out of clothing. Precautionary measure. We don't want you to hurt yourself or anybody else.
No, you guys
grab your stuff, have a seat.
You guys threatened it. I'm taking you guys to court.
That's fine. Timothy here is a little upset. He thinks we've ruined some of his property by taking his shoelaces out and some of the loose strings in the jacket. That's our policy. If the string isn't tied in, say like on the waist or at the bottom of the jacket, it's taken out for safety.
Grab your stuff.
Where'd you find them?
How much is it?
They ran across the street in front of me where my light was green.
So you're a contractor for the food service?
Yes, and you cook there.
These two are brothers. They're both warrants?
Yes.
Both warrants? They work at one of our jails.
Both of you work at Wapato in the food service
shit,
area?
get the fuck out of the way!
Do they have county ID with them? Let's take a look in their wallets and see.
What are you doing with this? Coke?
In his back area, and I just kind of popped right out of his waistband.
Cooking up.
What, is he just gonna fucking stand here all day?
How much did you pay for that?
How much is it?
How do you know it's not real?
So tasted it.
Oh, I'll go back and test it.
I want to be able to report to the commander who's in charge of the food service so that we can pull their access completely. I mean, the warrants are one thing, but possession would be another. Thanks.
Doesn't get any easier than that, I guess.
No.
Apparently, the two gentlemen are contractors that provide the food service for the jail. Deputy Hochtifer was searching him. Inside his waistband was a little baggie. It appears to be powdery substance, probably cocaine. The inmate says that it was, he actually tasted it and tested it. Said it was fake, but they're going to do a test on it anyways to be sure. If it is cocaine, they're going to notify command, so they'll probably be terminated if that's the case.
So you might want to start making some notes to yourself because I just got word that on the possession, the dope that you found in his pocket came up hot for opiates, so it's probably coke.
Excellent.
It's probably going to go to grand jury. They're charging them with a PCS2 because they're going to restrict their access to the kitchens there at Wapato.
Nice. 2 brothers get stopped for jaywalking and end up getting charged with possession. What kind of luck is that?
Good job.
I work in central booking for close to a year now. This jail is a direct supervision jail, which means that the deputy interacts with the inmates in the pod. They're all out and about, walking about, and we are mingling among them, making sure that everything gets taken care of and all the process gets done.
What is this one here for?
Assault or better on law enforcement.
Stand up.
Try to help again, man.
Stand up.
I may help you up. Come on.
I'm telling you, I got to get in the bathroom.
Well, that's fine, but we got a procedure we got to follow, and your use in the bathroom comes second to that. I guess he didn't want to wait, and before you knew it, he was sitting in the chairs and he just wet himself.
Go down to your knees.
Go down on your knees. I got you. All right, we're gonna let you face first down. I'm gonna hold you up so you don't hit your face. Gotcha. We decided to put him in the holding cell to get him to start acting right with the process like he should have been.
I ain't did nothing. I ain't did anything.
All right.
When you hear the door shut, you can get up.
Got it?
Oh.
This was the spitter.
Was it?
Yeah. That's what he said. What's going on?
He's pretending like he can't stand up. He's fine.
What's he here for? What's he here for?
You had a few beers? Like what?
More than 6.
How many?
Had more than 6 beers.
More than 6 beers?
I've had like 2 6-packs.
Go sit down.
Sit down.
2 6-packs or more than 6?
Sit down.
More. How?
He was fighting with the bouncers at the strip club, and they were holding him down, and he was yelling and screaming, and he'd been trying to fight people inside.
No, I never tried to fight people inside.
No. Well, you've been laying on the ground pretending like you can't stand up, but now you're standing up like a real man. Okay. Now you can talk. Before you're just babbling.
Why would I want to act?
Does it try to kick
You got any property for him?
It's up there.
Let's go. Walk.
Come over here.
Walk. We ain't having your attitude today, sir.
I'm not giving that to you.
Listen to me. You're going to go in here until you sober up. When that point comes, you can come out and get processed. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead in.
Don't bang on the glass. Step in there.
Like he's too intoxicated right now.
43.
We'll just keep an eye on him. 30-minute watches.
Once he comes down and starts acting like he's gonna follow the process, we'll let him back out.
Came in the property for the other guy?
Yeah, this is for the other guy.
Break it up! Down! I ain't doing nothing! Down! I ain't doing nothing! Down! Get down!
Put your hands behind
Put your hand behind your back! Hand behind your back! I ain't doing nothing!
We'll put him in this holding cell, move him around, put another one. There's no reason to put him. They're not going to fight any.
I'm here laying down, man. Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! You got feet! Get up! Costing me a lot of aggravation, boy.
No, I ain't causing. What do you want?
Right here.
I ain't
It's a wall.
causing nothing.
Don't move.
I ain't causing nothing. I'm telling you.
No? So he was just hitting you by himself. Right? Your hands were not moving around. Whatever. On your knees. Now take this off and run that hand over your head. Nowhere else but over your head.
Sorry. He hit me there.
Look, he hit me right there. Same thing. Wait. He hit Mark. I didn't know that. He hit put him in the chair. Put him in the chair.
Separate them.
He hit one of my deputies, and at that point he crossed the line. Right now he'll be going into the restraint chair, and probably he could be looking at additional charges. Battery on law enforcement officer, which is a third-degree felony.
We're ready.
Sit all the way down, man.
All the way
All the
down.
way down. Hands all the way behind your
Sit
back.
back. Sit back.
I'm all the way back. Whatever marshal I hit, I did not mean to hit. I was just selfish.
Yeah, what's hurting?
Yes, tight. Tight. Got a female going to do the holding cell. To be honest, CBT.
I've got to go in the office and pull up on my PC exactly what transpired in the holding cell because I'm not really sure yet. Throughout the jail, we have a system where everything is electronically monitored. I can pull up from my PC any camera over here at Orient and even some over at the other jail.
Asset has been transported.
It looks like the white male we placed in the holding cell there got up and looks like he got in the black male's face and they had some words, and at that time the black male jumps up and it's on. And that's how the fight occurred. To show you how well these cells keep the sound in, there's a staff member standing right here, doesn't even hear the fight going on. It only took about 15 seconds for the staff to get in there and to break it up. This will definitely go to the jail detective, and that way he'll put a additional charge on the white male that struck Deputy Marsh.
Basically, he's going to sit in the restraint chair until he can calm down, so he can cooperate with the process. He came in on a simple charge, could have handled it while he was here. He's here on vacation. Come on vacation, leave on probation.
We're waiting for code 5 that's about to come in. The male, all we know is he's combative.
Okay. He's on PCP and meth, and he's been on a bench for 4 days. Drunk on naked.
Christopher, if you want to help,
Come on, man.
you're not gonna.
Boxers on. Here we go.
Just chill, just relax, relax. Just take deep breaths, deep breaths.
Katrina.
Oh man, if I had a knife right now,
He obviously, because of the amount of drugs he's taken, so we're going to have to take him up to 2C.
You know what I made man last month after Texas green guy? Take a guess, anybody.
Fucking
What do you
circus,
think
baby.
the green guy made? Huh? I think he made about 6 G's. You know how much I made? How much? 68 after taxes. And I don't torture people. I take them to have fun. And judging by your red face, you have an alcohol problem. I bet. No. Oh, who's laughing? Who's laughing? Hit that guy? Hit your face is redder than his. I bet you guys beat it to the same bar every day. No, he was gonna let me go. I wouldn't have said, stop me off there, please.
Fucking psycho.
You're a psycho. I don't want to go through it. No mistakes, guys. Please, I want my back. Beat the shit out of me. No mistakes.
For his own safety, he'd be taken up to 2C
Oh, shit,
because
we got
it's
a
a better
virus.
place to watch him. They watch him every 4 minutes. There's 2 officers up there to keep a track of him just for his own safety. He obviously, you just can't put him in his cell because just the state of his mind is just going to work out. He needs to be closely watched.
We're all drinking cans of beers, you know, and I was the only one that got arrested because I had a warrant that never existed.
No,
in the
you're not
paper.
in here for the warrant. You're not in here for the warrant.
That's
You're in
why
here
they
for
said
citation.
they said they wouldn't
Stand right
arrest
here.
me if it wasn't for the
Turn around,
warrant.
face that way. Spread your feet out.
He's here for obstructing a sidewalk.
A sidewalk.
He was down on the strip on the bridge. And
I had a very bad week. I came here. I have a house in New Mexico. I told you guys that. I was never here in 2012 when the original warrant allegedly happened. Honestly, dude, get a hold of your crew. Maybe you'll get some stripes.
going crazy.
I don't want stripes.
This is bull.
Turn around here.
Turn around, face that way. Spread your feet out.
We're going to become an unclass team real soon.
Real quick. You look like you're about to break my hand for
Nobody likes to
reason.
sit
Yeah, you're turning around. Where's that officer?
Oh, wow.
Are you hiding
Sorry,
something?
get this animal to no, I'm not.
How do we know that?
I don't know. Search my ass.
Oh, man.
Look, there's no call for all that.
This
right?
is no call for this. He's biting
Yo,
my
they're
bone
still
into a
Yep,
chip.
I'm going to hold you right here. You're going to turn around. I'm going to control you.
Yeah, you are. Dude,
Put the
stop
mandolin.
breaking my hand.
See?
Stop moving on me. You understand that?
Do you understand, don't
Do you understand that? Stop!
Stop turning toward him.
Stop!
Stop! Stop! Stop! Stop! Stop! Oh my God, dude.
Put your hand down your side there.
Christopher, how you doing?
Please tell me what crime I committed.
Listen, this is what's called a class 2. It's a ticket, okay? If you sign this ticket and calm down, we'll get you out of here in a couple hours.
That's a long time, and I'm far away from where I need to
Listen,
be.
the alternative is I rip this up and you stay here for the weekend.
I'll sign it.
Okay. Oh, that's half of it. The other half is you comply with what we need to get done.
Okay. I can't wait till Jesus comes back.
All right, we're ready for it, believe me.
Pull your pants up.
Pull your pants up over your feet.
Put these slippers on.
There you go.
We didn't bring you in here, but we don't need the attitude in here either. You be respectful to us, and we'll be respectful to you. All right? Come on over here. You're going to see the nurse over here. Let them know any medical problems you have or any medications you take.
What's going on with Christopher?
Well, Christopher was up on the bridge, New York, pretty much blocking pedestrians, walking. Sanitation workers from the county came by, trying to clean up the bridge. They refused to move from them. Pretty much nobody could get around. An officer came out, asked them to move, wouldn't move. So they class 2'd him for the obstructing the sidewalk. And he's been warned before and multiple arrests for the same things.
Yeah. Christopher was just here a couple days ago, so I'm thinking he thinks that it's still the same case. Cases are running together.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Christopher, how are we doing?
Okay, dude. I've been fine.
I guess they brought you in because you wouldn't get out of the way for the street sweepers or something?
That's totally false, but fine. This is the honest to God's truth. What I was informed is that somebody had beat up a child molester, and there was a puddle of dried up blood where we were sitting, and there were several people who had already gathered there. Half an hour ago, everything's on camera. Nobody obviously wanted to charge anyone. They walked away. They're still alive. You know, like, nobody refused to move out of the way for the street sweeper at all, period. That would be a completely dickhead move, and I am not a dickhead. The reason that I got arrested again is for a ticket that happened when I had never been to Nevada.
So when you got arrested a couple days ago?
It was for that, and now I'm arrested again because I was sitting on the sidewalk when they ran my name, which I gladly gave to them. They were like, oh, you got failures to appear, and they arrested me. It's just, I've never gotten a ticket for jaywalking in Nevada ever, but I've been to jail for one twice.
All right, so you're going to be cool. We get you through this process and get you out of here?
Definitely.
Okay, because it's just going to be a couple hours.
Cool.
Okay, I don't want to have to keep you here for the weekend, so you need to lay low. And...
I'll try my best to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm a murderer all of a sudden.
2 days ago, you got a charge sheet, and you waited around for the whole process to get out of here. Today, you're just getting a ticket.
Awesome.
Remember, you act
gonna
up.
remember that you're nice.
You act up, the sergeant can take this away
I
from
know
you.
y'all think I'm like a fanatic Christian or something, but I'm not. I'm actually an alien from Arcturus, and that's in the Boots constellation. And if you look that up, you'll figure it out.
There's no such thing as Boots constellation.
The Boots constellation? You're tripping. There's billions of stars. I can make up an Exhilarating constellation.
Your boys.
Sorry that happened, bro. I would be bitter if
Not your bro neither. We're not related.
Fine. We just came from the same Big Bang, but when Christ comes back, he'll explain it all.
Come here, young man. Okay, don't sit in the last 2 rows. Sit anywhere else there. As soon as they print you over there, you're going to release it. So be cool while you're out here.
Valencia put me there, and
Sit down. Stand right there. Stop performing.
thank you very much. Why are you looking at me like that? Is that the way you look at people? You can hit me if you want. I don't fight. Compliments of the Rack City.
Just keep your pant legs down.
What is this girl on? Dude, I'd probably be the only one that can help her.
I'm not a dude, so get it straight.
I'll sock you in your face! I would like to Yes, ma'am.
Get up.
No, I thought that's what you wanted.
Get up.
Better remove her from my issue. Get me like Jennifer! I hope you get well too.
Getting into it with the girl next to her. She's been going back and forth, causing problems.
You want to put her aside some?
Yes, I do.
Jennifer, what happened with the other girl that you were sitting next to?
She was disrespecting my feathers, which are great.
What?
I'm Grey Goose. I got Grey Goose, whatever.
Okay, so she was disrespecting you. What did you say?
I didn't say a word.
Then why'd she get so upset?
I didn't give a I don't give a what she said, talked about, went where, this, that, the other, left, right, no, and something. Her.
All right, well, go ahead and sit back down, but try to stay calm, okay?
What
That way you
else?
can get out of here. All right, go have a seat.
What the
How are these dinosaurs
Now you
getting
know
in?
why I stepped down and you try to stand by me and look at my hair? Get off me! You understand me? I like to keep my head killing, just none of your business.
This isn't working. Okay, Jennifer, stand up. Let's go. Let's take a walk.
Jennifer, goddamn!
This side, Jennifer.
What's your problem? Get me out now!
Listen.
If you would calm down, you would have been walking out.
Not off his back, his neck, and then your face! You touched me, stupid side.
Sit.
Take your shoes off. Knock it off. Thank
Okay,
you,
step in.
Jennifer.
Hopefully this is nothing more than a sprain. Painkillers should prove effective.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
What's up?
You okay?
I'm still chicken butt. Why?
All right. Well, you know you're in a class 2, right?
Okay.
So you know what that is? You know what that means?
Not taking.
Okay, it's like a fancy ticket. So they brought you in, but you signed that ticket, and we're gonna get you out of here.
Okay.
So you're gonna wait a little while for the paper to go through, but the idea is to get you out of here as fast as possible.
Okay.
But we need you to kind of behave and go with the flow.
All right.
You're good with that?
Sure.
Okay. All right, step in, ma'am. We'll get back to you in a little bit.
Bless me now, ladies, with the physicality.
Let's bring her right here. Right there.
I needed to be stretched out. Thank you. Give me everything
All right,
I need. Yeah.
Hey, just listen to us, all right, so we can get you through this process. What's your first name? Shayna. All right.
Stop wiggling. I'm not wiggling. You're pushing me up. Sweetheart, don't you get it? I levitate like in the trees.
You do? I wish I could do that. Don't fling your hair in my face, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about. Sorry. All right. Thank you.
How long you been doing drugs?
As long as you guys been telling me to do drugs.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Thanks, ma'am. These are my wedding rings.
Give her the hand, see if she'll get them off.
Ring! The ring! My ring! I will take them off for you. You break my arm! Okay, officers. Please don't hurt my arm. All the wrong people, all the wrong reasons. Do nothing for the police. Sam was nobody, but you know this so. I love you, people. See what they're doing back here? Oh, yeah! Break me, go ahead and do it. Like you've done before. Let's go now.
You can pull the cuffs on my back.
Adding to the list. No, I'm not spitting on you. Choke the mask. Okay. Down low. Confirmed. Detergent's on the way. Once I go to sleep, you'll know.
Ma'am, have a seat right there.
Right back, man.
Acknowledge.
Sit down.
No problem. Stop resisting.
No, sir.
Okay, stop resisting.
Never,
Ease off. Now relax.
You're not a coward. I want the U.S. Marshals now! Yes, Marshals! Where are they? You keep that bitch away from me!
So Sheena's gonna stay in the restraint chair for the next couple of hours until she calms down.
I will kill you! Get the hell away from me!
Can you tell us what the deal was?
The details stated that there was a white female walking down the street, yelling and arguing at other subjects. But we found out she had a warrant. She started resisting, trying to kick us and trip us.
Okay.
Luckily, there was a few officers there. It took about 4 of us to place her in handcuffs and properly secure her. But we'll definitely be charging her for obstruction.
Okay, thanks.
All I want to do is twist up in a shoe.
Looks like she had 2 bench warrants for unlawful acts of financial responsibility and then resisting a police officer. So her bail for that is $1,000. So if she doesn't have bail money, she'll be here a few days.
Shayna, you have 1 hour left.
You said that an hour ago. Assets in the air.
You've got about 50 minutes. They're gonna take you out of the chair, see how you act.
It always seems like I fight and I cry and nothing makes sense anymore.
Hey, Sarge, are we wheeling her all the way over there to TR before we take her out of the chair?
Yeah, we'll take her down so we
Okay.
have to walk. We're just going to take her down to the cells we have over on the TR side. So take her out of the chair and give her a little time to cool off a little bit more.
Now remember what I said, Sheena, okay? You're gonna follow all our directions. You'll be able to get in here, lay down.
No, They're taking them off.
You're cutting me.
Shayna, calm down.
We're trying to take them off.
Okay, we're trying to get you out of the
I
chair.
understand that. Okay.
Then you need to calm down because all this bucking around and kick is not going to help. Now slowly stand up.
Okay, don't let me go.
They'll get the cuffs off and you can have a seat on the bench and sleep for a little bit.
Your feet down.
Let go of my.
Hey, put on, take a look around.
No! Please, you let go. Are you
Flip her around. Flip her around. Flip her around. Let's get her off the bench. Yeah, stick her back in the chair.
Step back a little bit.
You got a mask? Lap belt.
Okay. Yeah. Got that one? Yeah.
Shayna, just sit back and take a deep breath.
There you go.
You get checked out, Fields.
Yeah. Rubio hit me.
Relax.
All right, take her back over there. We got her in the room. She turned around, took a swing at the officers, so I had to restrain her and put her back in the chair. Take her back over and give her another chance to cool off.
She's in for another 2 hours. We'll reassess her and see how she does. We're gonna try this all over again. And I'm gonna take the handcuffs off you. You're gonna have to listen to me. And if you do that, you're gonna be fine, okay?
Okay, let's put these on. Stand up.
There we go. Okay, off comes the mask.
Face forward.
Face forward now.
Walk in.
Step in.
Walk in.
Come on.
Step in. Back. All you need to do is just go lay down on the bench and try to sleep it off.
All right. You're in? Okay. You're in. You're in.
Go have a seat. You got chow coming in about an hour, and you get up, get something to eat. Might help out, but for now, just sleep it off.
Okay? All right. So Shannon was removed from the restraint chair without incident this time.
Hopefully, in an hour or two, she gets some food, she goes to sleep, and she'll be a different person in the morning.
We got a combative inmate coming in. The patrol officer radioed ahead to our control and said that either they're being physically, verbally, or both resistive in the backseat of the car.
Hey, sir.
He's a DUI. Hey, Alejandro, you been in here before?
Never, sir.
How come you're acting this way inside this car?
Because I just feel so unfair. It's so unfair that I know I didn't blow more than a 0.7 or a 0.6.
I can smell you from here.
Well, let's do the blood test.
We will. Okay. But what I need, but right now, what I need to know is if you're going to cooperate or not.
I'm going to be very cooperative, sir.
Okay.
Very cooperative.
We're going to give you some very specific orders. You're going to follow them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll give you one chance.
That's fine.
Okay. We're going to give him one chance to walk.
I graduated, baby. Yeah. I made it to LV. Las Vegas, baby.
All right, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's go with the chair.
Oh, funny game. So I get with the other big dogs, right? What, do you think they're gonna take advantage of a young celibate like me?
Alejandro, settle down. You're not doing yourself any favors.
Well, no, I'm not. But you guys ain't either. I got the chair. Yeah, baby. I don't even deserve the chair, but I got the chair. I'm a collector. I'm a regular. I get up here, baby. It's a chair right here. Oh, yeah, yeah. I can't believe this captain is scared me. That's a killer, baby. Why are they gonna do all this to me? Because I'm a little buzzed? What a trip! Alright, so you can voice her. You guys are totally tripping! Las Vegas, baby!
Sir, do you have any allergies to medication?
No.
Prescription medication?
No.
Okay. Have you been drinking alcohol at all?
Sure.
Alright, how many drinks a day did you have tonight?
3 beers and 3 shots.
How often do you drink?
Every day.
Do you ever get withdrawals or anything like that?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? When's the last time you had a drink? About an hour, half hour ago?
2 hours ago.
2 hours?
Okay, Alejandro.
Come on, guys, let me go. I'm totally like not Violence is exciting. Oh, I love the spies. They get all crazy on this spy.
Alejandro, settle down. You're gonna come out here eventually if you behave.
I will. I will totally shut up. I just don't know what's going on. This is totally amazing to me.
Yes?
This is amazing. This is amazing. It's amazing, man.
Okay. I gave you a chance. All you had to do was cooperate. Keep it down, but you're being disruptive. We can't have that in here.
Okay.
All right?
I'll shut up. How many minutes you need me to shut up?
You show me something, okay? As we saw when he came in the car, he went from cooperative to uncooperative very quickly. At this time, we're doing a blood draw to determine the exact alcohol level in his blood. This is the most accurate method. He said he's going to cooperate. Standing by just in case he changes his tune.
Because I never done nothing to present any harm to you guys.
All right, Alejandro.
I up my life so bad, man. And there's no turning back. There's no turning back. It's a night.
All right, Alejandro. Your blood draw's done.
Well, you can do it, man. You got a good life, man.
Try to keep it down, okay? The better you behave now, the better off you'll be later on in the process.
I know, sir.
Okay. So you brought in Alejandro?
Yeah, he decided to go see his girlfriend after having a few drinks at the bar. His girlfriend told him to go home, so he went around the road and lost control. Hit the curb. Tried to continue down the roadway, hit the curb again, and then his left front tire went and hit the garage door of a residence. When I showed up, Alejandro was pushing the front tire and the assembly down the road to his car, which was about 50 yards away.
Oh man, so he went and got the tire and was bringing it back?
Yeah, exactly.
Look straight ahead.
Alejandro's now been in the open booking area for a little bit. He's had a chance to use the phone, get screened by our nurses, talk to our psych staff. Let's go see how he's doing. How you feeling? You coming down a little bit?
A lot better, yeah.
Get some clarity?
Yeah.
Okay. You starting to see how things could have gone a little easier if you'd have just gone with the program when you came in?
This is my first time here, and I didn't know that attitude right off the automobile was going to get me that far.
Do you get like that every time you drink? Or would you drink more than usual?
I've never been that.
That's up. I wouldn't recommend it again. Yeah. Probably don't like the person that comes out when you do that.
It's, they call it Patron for a reason. You turn into the boss.
All right. Luckily, no one got hurt except your car.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, head back.
Hopefully, Alejandro learned his lesson.
Hey, how's it going? Dude, I'm getting butt naked in public. Oh my god, that's kind of embarrassing. To be honest, I just got him from a friend.
Got him from a friend?
Yeah.
Did you have to pay for him?
No, of course not. No.
How did you come in contact with the trooper there?
I was just walking and he turned his lights on me and that's how he got me.
That's how he
Pretty
got
much.
you?
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
I was coming from a friend's house.
Take a seat there in the chair. Take a seat.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be super honest with you. I don't know how I came across all those Xannies.
Oh, you don't?
No, I really
said
don't.
your friend gave them to you.
No, I promise.
Are those your pants?
My pants? My jeans? Yeah, of course.
Well, so how would they get into your pants pocket there?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of drunk right now.
Kind of drunk?
So, yeah. So I don't know how they came across my pants.
You know it's against the law to be possessing those.
Oh yeah, I know that. I just thought I had one or two, I promise you, sir. But the officer that got me, he started pulling out like bunches of Xannies. He said I had like 35.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
So why are your pants unbuttoned there? It's not.
Oh, because when I was getting pulled over, I didn't have a chance to put on my pants.
Well, stand up, face that direction there. We're gonna place a belly chain on you.
Oh my God.
Have you ever been to jail before?
Oh, maybe a flare.
Yes, I have, sir. I'm not gonna lie.
Here?
No, not here. I don't even know where we're at right here.
We're at the Park County Detention Center, downtown.
Are we?
Yeah, downtown Las Vegas.
Oh, no, I've never been here.
Okay, let's go see the medical staff.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure do.
Any alcohol or do any drugs?
Yeah.
Did you drink today?
Yes, I did.
How much did you have to drink?
I would say like around 211s.
211s? Do any drugs?
211s.
You do any drugs?
No, sir.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I promise. I swear to God, I don't do Xanax. That's not my thing.
What time did you start drinking last night?
I really started drinking like around, I would say like 9:30.
9:30 last night?
Dinosaurs.
9:30 of last night. What's the date? Oh, around my watch.
About 11 hours later. You only had 2 drinks?
Yeah, just some 2 tall cans.
Just sit down in the first row there.
No problem, sir.
Trooper, how did you come in contact with Andrew?
Well, I got a call for a pedestrian on the highway that appeared to be intoxicated. So I located him walking down the shoulder, stumbling very bad. It looked like he was heavily intoxicated. For my safety, I wanted to pat him down, make sure he didn't have any weapons on him. And felt something odd in his pocket. That's how I ended up finding the pills. I asked him if I could see what was in the pocket and remove what was in there. And he consented to let me go into his pocket and remove it.
Right there. Andrew's right over here, sitting right there. Put your right thumb on there.
Right thumb.
Let me assist you. Andrew, you seem more out of it right now. You seem very exhausted or tired.
Oh, yeah. I'm really exhausted and tired, actually.
Is that from the Xanax that you took?
No, not really.
Andrew, you're going to be charged with intoxicated pedestrian on a highway. Okay, your safety issue for yourself being out there. And you're going to be charged with possession of Xanax, which is a Schedule 4 drug, controlled substance, okay? You're also being charged with possession with intent to sell.
I wasn't even selling them.
It's not normal for a person to have 43 Xanax without a prescription, non-prescription bottle loose in multiple pockets. That's why you're being charged with that. The average person would have a prescription.
Come on, boys.
Yeah, I understand, but I've never sold one of those Xanax in my life. I swear, I don't know where they came from.
No, in the car you told me that you knew where they came from, but you didn't want to tell me where they came from.
Nah, man. Alright, whatever.
Okay, Andrew. Take a seat back in the front row there.
You guys, that's easy.
Okay.
Questions, you would ask a kindergartner, can you guys please go away?
Okay. We're gonna try to get Andrew through the process as quickly as possible.
Damn.
Hands across your chest. Separate your feet.
Yeah.
Why are you here, sir?
Defending myself, that's why I'm here.
Where's all the blood
from the other guy?
Gonna do a fight?
No fight.
Have a seat, sir. From back east?
Yeah.
Where you from?
New York.
Where?
Brooklyn.
Why are you here?
Some people sent some people after me and I beat them down with a gun. Case closed.
All the way from Brooklyn. Why are you in Vegas?
I got family.
Oh, you got family here?
Yeah.
I got some family from Brooklyn. It's a nice spot. How many people did you get into it with?
Just one.
Where's he at?
Lives across the street.
Neighbor?
Oh, you call him a neighbor. I'm going through this a long time.
Ongoing thing?
To a head. Oh, it just came to a head tonight.
Is he from New York?
I don't even know. He was sent there to do what he was doing. Case closed, that's it.
So he's sent to live across the street from you to harass you?
Oh yeah, it's too much for me to explain here. Look, if I wanted to kill the guy, I would have killed him right there. I had no intention to kill him. I ain't going to get screwed around by what's going on.
Just make sure you're around here, you don't get into anybody, all right?
Me? I'm a quiet guy.
Just keep your New York attitude, your Brooklyn attitude down, all right? That's all you had? 2 black shoes, 2 black socks, black belt, and a 50-cent piece? All right, Anthony, let's get you going. You need to sit where that 2 is in the second row. Wait for medical call, you all right?
Sure.
He's a typical guy from Brooklyn, old school, just has that attitude. What happened with that guy?
I have some conspiracy theory thoughts since like 03. Said the people that built this house are
after him, been tracking him and everything like that. Ends up confronting the neighbor in front of his house with a gun, beats him on the head with the gun, fires a round off. Neighbors start coming out, calling the police. This guy's like fumbling back into his house, pounding the door for his wife to let him in. His wife lets him in, he's bleeding all over the head. We all show up. He's out there yelling, I shot my gun off, and if I wanted to kill him, I would have done it. Then he just kept talking about his conspiracy theories the whole time until detectives can come. He said it was a long time coming. Oh yeah. He told me he met him in the middle of the street and just handled his business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he seems like he's a little out there.
Yeah, I don't know whether he watched like a Bob movie and
he might have. He's in Brooklyn. Yeah, he might. We'll see how he does in here.
Yeah.
Anthony.
All right, what should we put in here?
So what happened tonight?
Velociraptors?
Look, I've been hassled for a long time with these people.
Who are these people?
People where I live. Started it out.
So your neighbors.
That guy that had the confrontation tonight, it started in New York. So from New York, it came here. So I just watched, and I found out who was involved.
All right. So what did he directly do to you?
Well, we had a confrontation one time when he started pushing me around. I called the police. So the cop comes and he tells me, the cop, that I spoke to somebody not known by either party. He tells me I'm paranoid. I says, is that right? This is why I called, because I wanted to see. They have friends in the police department.
I guess there's a bunch of people, conspiracy, out to get you. I understand you're protecting yourself.
That's it. My family, too.
All right, I get it.
Case closed.
Mm-hmm.
But they're trying to set me up. This is what this whole thing was about tonight, setting me up.
Well, let's try to get you out here, okay? You ready? Your paperwork, so I'm going to get your picture taken?
Sure.
All right, buddy, come on, head this way. All right, Anthony, look up at that camera.
Straight ahead.
Anthony, right up there, buddy.
Okay.
All right, Anthony, come over here. You're going to sign your stuff. All right, this is your charges, Anthony. Battery with use of deadly weapon, you already know. All right, bail is $20,000. Come this way. You been here before?
No.
All right. You're going to come out here.
Oh,
you're
shit,
going to stand on the left-hand side with the guys, okay?
Save the game.
Don't get in trouble. Hang tight.
That's it.
All right. First 3 rows. Have a seat. Listen for your name, okay, Anthony? Make sure you don't get up without raising your hand asking first, all right? In his mind, someone crossed the line today, so Anthony stepped up and took care of business. He has that little New York attitude in him, old school. So we'll see how he does in here. We'll get him out of here as quick as we can.
Let's go, Vegas! Let's go!
Seeing all the people, I'd rather work out here than inside the jail. It's fun to be out here and to see everything that's happening. When the police officers are going to arrest people, we're going to take them back to our buses here in the back, be able to process them just like we would in the jail, but out here mobily. Just setting up one of our processing centers.
Commando. Commander. Oh no, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Let's watch that. Temple!
Let me raise you up when your bubble bursts.
Top 5 temple runs.
Up next, it's that giant talking stonehead.
Field eyes.
A little more than a year ago, I made a video about the mid-90s Nickelodeon game show, Legends of the Hidden Temple. In that video, I listed the 6 Hidden Temple teams in a power rankings based on overall success across all 3 seasons of the show. This video is kinda like a follow-up to that one, so if you haven't seen it, it might help to check it out before watching the rest of this one. If that video was the Legends of the Hidden Temple Team Awards, then this one would be the individual honors. Inspired by the Legend of Bobby, this is the Temple Run Hall of Fame. A total of 120 episodes of Legends were produced between 1993 and 1995, which of course means that there are 120 temple runs in contention for the Peeled Eyes Temple Run Hall of Fame. I'll be choosing 5 of these runs to join Bobby as my 6 official inductees, but before that, I have one honorable mention I'd like to bring to your attention. While it doesn't quite make my official Hall of Fame, this Orange Iguana's run from Season 2 is certainly memorable enough to earn a nod in this video. This is a solo run, which, as you can probably guess, means only one contestant entered the temple. That contestant is this kid, Ty Mathin. Ty is something of a recurring character in the world of Nickelodeon game shows, but I'll come back to that in just a minute. First, let's see what Ty can do in the temple. Olmec lowers the gate. 3 minutes are on the clock. Kirk Fogg stutters and stammers his way through his lines, just like he always does. He gives the signal and Ty speeds into the temple. Just look at him go. Holy shit, this kid is fast. So fast, in fact, that Ty can't even hang on to his pendant of life, which goes flying through the air and down the temple steps. This mistake actually results in one of the coolest maneuvers ever pulled off in Olmec's temple. As Ty enters the ledges, a phantom hand emerges from the bottom of the frame. This hand tosses the lost pendant of life to Ty, who then immediately hot potatoes it to this temple guard, who nearly caught Ty lacking. From there, Ty is going to put in an absolute shift as he takes the longest route possible to the lucky medallion, an approach that pays off, with the top half of the temple being devoid of temple guards. He snags the medallion, which unlocks every door and removes any remaining guards, and proceeds to just power his way back to the temple gate with just 7 seconds left on the clock. A top-level run for sure, made even more impressive by the fact that it's a solo run, and of course because of the highlight reel play on the ledges. So why then is it just an honorable mention? Well, that's where Ty's other game show appearance comes into play. You see, before he was ever an Orange Iguana, Ty Mathin sought to answer that age-old question. That's right, the stars must have been in perfect alignment when Ty was born, because this kid was lucky enough to also appear on Nickelodeon Guts. Jeez, next you're gonna tell me this dude was on the Nick All-Star Challenge too.
Champion Ty Mathin and
good god, what a top-tier childhood this kid had. Well, maybe top-tier might be a bit of a stretch, considering how Ty's time in the Extreme Arena played out. As you might remember from my Tales from the Aggro Crag video, the Radical Rock is not for the faint of heart, and in a weird twist of fate, it's actually what keeps Ty out of my Hall of Fame. You might not like it, folks, but I just can't give a spot in my Hall of Fame to a 3rd place Crag finisher. It's just too much of a stain on Ty's game show resume. No way. Can't do it. I don't care if Guts is a completely separate show from Legends. I say it all the time. I don't make the rules. I guess you could consider Ty to be the shoeless Joe Jackson of 90s kids game shows, kept out of the Hall of Fame based on a technicality. Alright, time for the real inductees, and we're starting off hot with a pick I'm sure will be controversial, especially after I just denied Ty a spot. For the first inductee, we're sticking with Season 2, but this time we've got the powerhouse Green Monkeys taking on the temple. This is yet another solo run that features just one contestant, that being this kid, Jason. Jason's run gets off to a promising start as he makes quick work of the temple's first few obstacles before blueballing a temple guard with his pendant of life. Now he's gonna get a little confused here. He's looking around, doesn't know where to go, probably a little scared that another dude in an Aztec cosplay is gonna come flying through the wall, but eventually he figures it out and makes his way to the broken wing, with just under a minute left on the clock. Jason's basically got the dub locked up until he gets to the Pit of Despair and decides he's playing on hard mode. He could have just swung across the ball pit and finished with time to spare, but instead, he heads for the ledges, goes down when he needs to go up, and burns precious seconds off of the clock. In what is the closest failed temple escape of all time, Jason's run comes to an end literally steps before the finish line. That's right, I'm choosing to put a failed run in my Hall of Fame over a successful one. Why? Well, 1, because I'm petty, and 2, because of the drama. This is the highest form of suspense, a true nail-biter that ends with a poetic twist of irony. Just as Icarus flew too close to the sun, so too did Jason. It reminds me of that one Orange Iguanas run that I highlighted in the Power Rankings video. It's tragic stuff. Jason had it won, till all of a sudden he didn't, but he still put on enough of a show to earn a spot in the Hall of Fame. Next up, we've got a Silver Snakes run from late in the 3rd season. If I had to give this run a name, I would call it...
Fine, I'll do it myself.
You'll see what I mean in just a second. Annie is first into the temple, and she must have broken a mirror or walked under a ladder on the way to Nickelodeon Studios, because she is going to get really, really unlucky here, encountering 2 temple guards in the first 3 rooms. Imagine getting to be on Legends of the Hidden Temple, making it all the way to the temple run, and then this happens less than 30 seconds in. Just when it seems all is lost, Annie's teammate emerges to save the day. Who is he, you ask?
I'm Vengeance.
Well, not actually. His real name is Kevin, but he certainly is about to avenge his fallen teammate. Look at him go. That's a man on a mission. Kevin pauses to roll up his sleeves because he's about to go to work. As you can see, Kevin takes the Bobby approach and just barrels through the bottom of the temple. He's not playing around once he gets into the dark forest. Boom! Straight through the wall. Kevin with a solid Kool-Aid Man impression right there. That's gonna get him some style points. He follows that up by saying, screw these playground rules, I'm going up the slide and straight to the treasure. From there, Kevin puts on a 22-second long clinic on how to perfectly finish a temple run as he secures victory and a trip to the Palm Island Resort with a whopping 1 minute and 2 seconds still on the clock. The best ever time by a Silver Snakes team. I think we can all agree this emotional roller coaster easily earns its place in the Hall of Fame. And strangely enough, the run that Kevin and Annie beat out for the title of fastest Silver Snakes run just so happens to be our next inductee. Boom, it's June 10th, 1994, and history is in the making. We're looking at a silver solo run here. It's Joel, taking on Temple Layout 11 with a trip to Cancun on the line. Let's rock. From start to finish, Joel is not messing around. Like many successful runners, he sticks to the bottom of the temple, but what sets Joel apart is that he never hesitates. He has a plan and he sticks to it. Now, right here is the most impressive part of the run. Believe it or not, what you're looking at here is undoctored footage of a kid on Legends of the Hidden Temple actually managing to assemble the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. A bafflingly rare occurrence. I don't know what it was about this 3-piece puzzle that short-circuited the brains of children back in the 90s, but eventually, Joel figures it out. And now he's actually going to make another really smart move here by heading back to the bottom of the temple, which he is already familiar with. That's going to allow him to escape the temple with an impressive 55 seconds still on the clock. But what's even more important is that Joel has just completed the first ever perfect run. A perfect run is a successful solo run in which no temple guards are encountered. Out of the 120 total temple runs, there were only 2 of these perfect runs. Joel's triumph here for the Silver Snakes, and our next inductee. Orange Iguana fans, rise up. Now you've got some real representation in the Hall of Fame. Here's your champion, Tiffany. She's had a rough showing up to this point.
What did King Arthur extract from a stone? Blood?
The silver helmet?
Incorrect.
But all is forgotten when you're standing in front of Olmec's gate. Speaking of which, lower that bad boy and let's get Tiffany's redemption tour started. Tiffany takes the slow and steady approach. She's almost nonchalant as she methodically moves through the temple. Her teammate Jamel's like the polar opposite. He's going nuts out there watching her meander through the temple like this. This kid's great. It wouldn't be a perfect run without a successful trip through the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. You'll love to see it. Tiffany gets down to the bottom of the temple and grabs the helmet, which is comically large and awkward to carry. Jamel's still out there jumping up and down. He's loving it now. Tiffany's just cruising through the pit. Ooh, takes a header right there, but she's alright. She keeps going, lugging that big-ass helmet up the ledges, up and out of the temple, where she secures the second and final perfect run. Now watch this. This might be the best part, actually. Tiffany's gonna completely leave Jamel hanging here. No high five for him. She's thinking, screw you, man. I just carried you on my back all the way to the Bahamas, or something like that. We love you, Jamel, but this is Tiffany's moment. However, there is still one spot left in the Hall of Fame, and in my opinion, I've saved the best for last. In my original Legends of the Hidden Temple video, I made a statement that I've come to regret. The parrots don't really have an individual story that sticks out as being worth including here. Instead, we're left with a purple-tinted montage full of failures and disappointments. I'm sad to report that I have led you astray. There is in fact a very memorable Purple Parrots run, and it's this one from the end of Season 2. The Parrots hardly ever won on Legends, but this run is one that their devout fans can be proud of. Our hero this time is Terra, who, like many of our inductees, sticks to the lower level as she maneuvers towards the back of the temple. It's smooth sailing for Terra until a grown man in a costume pops out and probably traumatizes this child for the rest of her life. It's all good though, she's got a pendant of life, which means the run stays alive. At this point, Terra's gonna do what was once thought impossible, assembling the silver monkey without embarrassing herself. After some brief confusion, she finds the milk bucket and takes off towards the temple gate. Terra makes it back to the pit where she attempts an absolutely electric maneuver right here. A leaping swing across the pit, but ooh, takes quite the tumble right there. Let's see that again. She jumps, kinda gets a hold of the rope, but not really, and then just bang, smashes into the ball pit on some backyard wrestling shit. She shakes it off though, and it's gonna be close. Real close, but with 1 single second left on the clock, Terra crosses the finish line and writes her name in the Hidden Temple history books. Oddly enough, Terra herself actually commented on my first Hidden Temple video where she seemed a little disappointed that I didn't feature her run. Well, if you're out there, Terra, my bad for leaving your run out, and hopefully a spot in the Hall of Fame makes up for it. As always, I want to say thanks for watching and supporting my videos. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. Those 2 clicks really do help me tremendously, and I really appreciate it. There's more videos on the way, and I'm doing my best to cut down on the time between uploads, but that can be tough sometimes. Oh, and if you disagree with me on my choices for the Hall of Fame, well, leave a comment, and we can argue about a children's game show from 30 years ago. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.
Today we have a really cool video for you guys. It'll be a collection of 4 stories that are all fan favorites, and they all share a theme: camping horror stories. These stories have all been totally re-edited, so even if you've seen them before, it's gonna feel new and improved. That was the whole point of doing this. We wanted this to feel like a brand new viewing experience. But before we get into those stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please offer to refill the like button's Keurig machine, but instead of using water, go ahead and take all the water from inside of those baggies that contain fresh mozzarella cheese, and just dump that gross gray water in there. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's stories.
We got no dinosaur. Oh, wait. There's a dinosaur in the park. What kind of dinosaur is that? Oh, it's a nasty one, too. At Carno.
In April of 2020, a 17-year-old named Sam, who was an avid outdoorsman, decided to go on a one-night hike in the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. The mountain's name has a bunch of supposed origins, but the one that's generally accepted is people are afraid of the Superstition Mountains because of all the mysterious deaths that have occurred there. And so because people would avoid these mountains in fear of mysterious death, it became these superstitious mountains. But Sam was not superstitious and regularly came out here to go hiking, in particular on this 8-mile loop that went through a canyon. And so this one night overnight he planned on doing was going to be on that 8-mile loop where he'd do 4 miles in, camp out, and then 4 miles back. And he planned to do it with a friend, but his friend at the last minute canceled, and so Sam teetered on not even doing it, but ultimately decided, okay, I'll just do it by myself because I'm very familiar with this area. On the day he was supposed to go do this hike, he had planned on getting there early in the day to have maximum lighting, but due to some unforeseen circumstances and traffic and bad road conditions, he didn't get to the trailhead until 5:45 p.m. that night. Sam knew it was a bad idea to start this hike so late because he was going to run out of daylight. He probably was not going to make it 4 miles to the point where he planned on camping out, but he figured with his good health and fitness, he could probably quickly make his way to the 2 or even 3 mile mark, and there were some suitable campsites there. And so he decided he would kind of risk it and just try to go as fast as he could and use the daylight he had to reach a suitable campsite. But he wasn't able to move as fast as he thought he could, and soon the sun was down and it's totally dark and he's got his flashlight, but that only is able to shine like 10 feet in front of him. And then at one point he nearly falls off of this rock, and he knows had he fallen, he would have gotten really badly hurt, and he's 15 miles away from the nearest help, and he's in a bad cell phone service area, and the roads getting out here are treacherous. No one knows exactly where he is, and it dawns on him that you've made a pretty bad choice, and you should stop right now and make camp here and not try to risk it any further. And so as it happened, where he was, there was this forest right nearby, and you could see there was a clearing about 30 feet off the path when he shined his light. And so he walked into that clearing, and he found it was a great spot to make camp. And in fact, on the edge of this clearing was the remnants of a fire pit. It was very old, but it at least showed someone had camped out right here, and they seemed to have made it just fine. So suddenly he was feeling pretty smart, and he felt pretty good about where he was staying for the night. Now, Sam intentionally did not bring a tent. He liked to sleep on a sleeping pad with a sleeping bag over that, and then he would string up a tarp over the top of him in case it rained. And since this clearing was surrounded by a bunch of pine trees, he was able to string up his tarp over the top, and it was perfect. And pretty soon he had a fire going, and then he cracked open a can of beans, and he began eating his dinner. And as he was eating, he started to get a sense that something was off, something was not right. He began scanning the tree line as if he was going to find something out of the ordinary, but his visibility was incredibly limited because he was sitting right up against the fire, and if you've ever sat next to a fire in a dark forest, your visibility is like 5 feet in a circle around the fire. You really cannot see beyond that. And his vision was also limited by all the pine trees that encircled his clearing, so he really could only see what was immediately around him, nothing else. And he starts thinking, that's gotta be it. Maybe I'm just nervous because I have no visibility. But as he's rationalizing this kind of bad gut feeling, a rock the size of a marble comes soaring into the campsite and lands at his feet. And he looks down at the rock, and immediately he connects that to that sense of dread he had. And he's looking around a little more aggressively now, but again, his vision is very, very limited. And so for the next 15 minutes, Sam is really aggressively scanning the tree line and listening really intently, and he doesn't hear anything, he doesn't see any more rocks get thrown. And so he begins to rationalize and convince himself that there's nothing wrong here. That feeling I have, oh, don't worry about that. He starts telling himself, I must have kicked a rock. That's what it is. Or maybe a rock fell off a tree. But either way, it's something totally explainable and you got nothing to worry about. And after a little while, he convinced himself and he got into his sleeping bag under his tarp and he went to sleep. A couple of hours later, Sam wakes up and he has that same sense of dread, and now it's back with a vengeance. And he can't hear anything, he can't see anything, but he's definitely feeling like something is wrong. And at that moment, as he's listening really intently and looking really carefully, he hears the sound of rustling leaves. It sounds like someone walking through leaves about 30 or 40 meters away from his campsite. And initially, he can't tell if this person or animal is walking towards his campsite or away, but over the next 30 seconds or so, the sounds start to fade, and he convinces himself that, okay, they've left and everything's fine. But just in case, he wanted to grab his flashlight and shine it in that direction, and so he reaches next to him where he had left it when he had gone to bed a couple hours earlier, and he can't find his flashlight. He's looking around for it, and he can't find it, and he's like, man, that's weird. I had it right here, right next to my body, and it's not here anymore. And that's when the alarm bells start going off in his head, because the only way this flashlight moves is if he moved it. And if it's not here, how did it move? And so he jumps out of his sleeping bag, he ducks out from under the tarp, and he's looking around on the ground in the immediate vicinity of where he was sleeping to find this flashlight. And as he's looking, out of the corner of his eye, he sees some light. And he turns his head, and in the same direction that he had heard those footsteps, those rustling leaves, when he was still laying down, he sees his flashlight laying on the ground about 10 meters away. Which means someone or something had been less than a foot away from him to get this flashlight that was right next to him while he was fast asleep and totally helpless, and had moved it all the way over there. And immediately, Sam thinks to himself, that's a trap. They are trying to lure me away from my campsite. Suddenly, he felt so scared he wanted to vomit, but he knew in order to survive this situation, he needed to keep his wits about him. So he puts his boots on and he grabs his knife, and he knows he's not leaving this campsite. In fact, he's going to build the biggest fire he can. He's going to stoke that fire as big as he can get it, and he's not going to go anywhere near that flashlight. For the next several hours, Sam just stood in the middle of his campsite holding his knife, preparing to confront whatever the heck is out in the woods. And over those several hours, he would hear footsteps approach his campsite, turn around, and leave. Every time the fire got lower, he noticed they would come closer and closer and closer, and when he would stoke the fire, they wouldn't come as close. But at about 3 a.m., he ran out of firewood, so unless he went into the woods to get more, he'd be out, and he's certainly not going into the woods. That's the whole point, is to avoid the woods where this thing is. And so as the fire died down, Sam prepared himself mentally for whatever happened next, because he knew that with that fire gone, this thing was comfortable coming all the way in, coming all the way up right next to him to get the flashlight. And so finally, he hears the footsteps approaching, and before this, the closest they had come was maybe about 15 meters away. They were far enough away it didn't feel intimate. It was terrifying, but he had some distance. This time, they walk right up to about 3 meters away, but they intentionally come behind the thickest group of trees, so he can't see them, and it's still dark outside, and he's in that bubble of light near the fire, so he's blind to whatever's on the other side of those trees, but he knows they're there, and they've stopped. And for 2 hours, this poor kid is standing in the middle of this campsite, facing in the direction of whatever is behind the trees. Probably his imagination is going crazy at this point with what could be behind those trees, just waiting for whatever happened next. But ultimately, the only thing that would happen is the sun would eventually come up, and right before it actually popped over the horizon, this thing on the other side finally moved, it turned around and ran away, and it did not come back. And so when the sun finally did come up, Sam didn't just charge out of there because he's still thinking there could be a trap. He waited until it was totally full sunlight, and then he packed up everything he had, and he practically sprinted back to the parking lot, back into his car, and he drove nonstop for 20 miles until he got to a gas station where he could park and collect himself. And when he got there, he got out of his car, and he went in and he got a drink, and when he came out, he noticed someone had written something on the dust on the back window of his car. And he walks over and it just says, "Sleep well?" ? Sam is confident whoever was stalking him at his campsite is the same person or group of people that wrote this message on his car. And now Sam just wonders, what would have happened if I retrieved that flashlight? In 1982, a very outdoorsy teenage girl and boy who had recently started dating decided to go camping in Maine. Around 1 a.m. on the first night they were there, the girl wakes up because she has to go to the bathroom, and she's about to unzip her tent when she stops because she hears some strange noises coming from outside her tent. It wasn't that loud, but it sounded distinctly like something was digging in the ground. But she really had to go, and she figured, you know what, it's probably just some small animal or something. And so she begins to unzip the tent. And there's a little bit of moonlight that night, and there was a clearing outside of their tent. So the moonlight's pouring through, so she has plenty of illumination. And so she looks through this tiny hole, and she can't believe what she sees. It is a grown woman squatting down about 2 or 3 feet away from their tent. Her back is to them, so she can't see that she's looking through the tent. And she's feverishly digging into the ground in front of her. The girl literally falls backwards into her tent. She's so startled by what she sees. And she lands on her boyfriend, who immediately gets up and he's like, "What's going on?" And she goes, and she points at the little hole where she had unzipped the tent, and she goes, "Look." The boy is confused, but he can tell his girlfriend is very serious. So he sits up quietly and he looks through the little opening in the door and he sees the digging woman. The boy recoils and looks at his girlfriend and he's like, "What is going on out there?" He takes a flashlight and she's telling him, "Don't do it." And he opens up the tent a little bit more and he aims his flashlight directly on this woman. And this gets her attention and she stops digging and she stands up slowly and she turns around and faces them, and she's got no expression. She's not giving them any indication why she's there. She's not acting aggressive. She's not acting scared. She's just completely neutral. And she stands there staring at them for quite a while before turning around and just walking away from their campsite. And after a little while, when they were pretty certain she was gone, they open their tent all the way, they go outside, they kind of scan around with their flashlights and she's nowhere to be found, and they go to where she was digging, and it's just this weird 4-inch deep hole in the ground. There's no rhyme or reason to why she was doing that. And so after sitting there wondering what they should do, they settled on, well, tomorrow we'll tell the park rangers that she was here and maybe they'll do something about it. And so feeling pretty confident that this woman's not going to come back, They both go back into the tent, they zip it shut, they get in their sleeping bags, and they're about to go to sleep when they hear someone running towards their campsite. They know it's this woman. They immediately unzip the tent and they look out, and now the woman's not digging anymore. She's rummaging through some of their stuff that's outside of their tent. And the way she's doing it, they described as monkey-like. She'd pick something up, look at it, and throw it over her head. Pick the next thing up, throw it over her head. Back and forth, just throwing things behind her. And so the boy gets out and he shines a light on her and goes, "You need to leave." And she doesn't react. She just keeps flipping through all their stuff until he gets pretty forceful and says, "You need to leave right now." And at that point, she kind of stops and looks at him like, "Huh, what are you doing here?" And then she gets up, turns around, and walks away. Now the couple really doesn't know what to do because she's clearly willing to come back after being confronted. But they stayed outside their tent for about 15 more minutes, shining their light and making lots of noise and treating her like she's an animal. And they're just trying to scare her away from the campsite. And after a little bit of time, they thought, okay, there's no way she comes back now because we were pretty aggressive with her this time and she seemed to really get it. They both do go back in the tent, and as soon as they zip it shut, they hear her come running straight back to the site, like she was literally waiting in the wings for when they went back in the tent. And this time she runs back to the hole in the ground and she's just feverishly digging into the ground as fast as she can. And this time they come out of their tent and they're mad and they are screaming at this woman to get the F out of here. What are you doing? And this seems to kind of frighten the woman, who gets up and she looks at them like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And she runs away. And it looked almost animalistic the way she was running away, like she was feral. The boy and the girl are totally shaken up at this point. It's about 1:30 in the morning and this woman just keeps coming back to their site and they don't know what to do about it. So they turn on some lanterns and they turn on their flashlights and they decide, we're just going to stay outside until the morning. That way we know she doesn't come back and doesn't steal anything from us. But by about 3:30 in the morning, they've been outside for 2 hours, they get cold, they're super tired, the woman's nowhere to be found, and so they finally say, "You want to go back in and get some sleep? I think this time she's really gone." They get back in their sleeping bags and they go to sleep. They don't hear her again. The next morning when they get up and they unzip their tent, they look outside and all of their stuff has been thrown all over the campsite. And the hole in the ground that the woman had dug that was previously about 4 or 6 inches deep is now well over a foot deep. And they realize this woman must have been lurking in the shadows in the woods, watching them from 1:30 to 3:30 in the morning. The whole time they were out there kind of warding her off. She was just waiting, just watching them the whole time in the shadows, and as soon as they went into their tent, she must have given it a little bit of time, but then she ran right back over and she ransacked their site. But the strangest thing was, after they looked through all of the stuff she had chucked around, nothing was missing. There was some pretty expensive stuff that was laying out that she could have taken, but didn't. After they picked up their site, they went to the park ranger and they told them about what had happened, but the ranger has no idea what to make of it. He's never heard of such a thing. And so the couple just leaves that day because they're not about to spend another night here. And to this day, they have no idea why this woman was running onto their site and digging into the ground and rummaging through their stuff. It was like she was just a wild animal.
No problem. Acknowledged. Understood. Acknowledged. Adding to the list.
In the early 2000s, a teenager named Evan and his father would regularly go hunting in the Georgia backcountry. When Evan turned 14, his father befriended a very wealthy landowner in Georgia who offered them access to one of his best private hunting areas. And just a couple of days later, on October 5th, Evan and his father would take him up on the offer. They woke up super early and they drove out to the edge of this property that was actually fenced in. And they went to a main gate where they had the combo that this guy had given them. They punched in the combo, opened up the gate, drove in, shut the gate, locked it, and then continued down the access road. They followed this road for about 2 miles where it came to a stop right outside of this huge forest. They parked their truck, they got out, they put on their gear, and in the pre-morning darkness began hiking into the woods. Even though they were there primarily to hunt, Eben and his father secretly enjoyed just hiking around the woods and camping out, and any chance they got to extend their hunting trips, they would, even if the hunting wasn't good. And so since they spent a ton of time in the woods together, they noticed almost immediately when they walked into this particular forest that something was off. There's no birds, there's no animals, silence. It's just totally silent. The only sounds they heard that were not them was a single plane that passed overhead. Although they found this very odd, they figured, you know what, this is private property, not a lot of people are out here. I'm sure as soon as we showed up, the animals were aware of us and they've scattered. They finally make it out to the hunting stand that the owner had told them about. They get all settled in, they're getting ready to see some animals. All day long, they don't see a single animal, they don't hear a single animal. In fact, again, it is just completely silent. Frustrated, they began packing up their stuff, making their way down off the stand, and they started looking for a place to make camp for the night. And Eben's father suggested, well, hey, you know, there's obviously nothing over here. It's been quiet all day. Why don't we walk deeper into the woods a little ways, set up camp there, so tomorrow we have a better chance of seeing some animals. So they hiked for about an hour farther away from where they parked their truck, and they reached this clearing, which is perfect for setting up their camp. And so they set up their tent, and Eben's father says, hey, you know, we still got some daylight. Do you want to go try our luck and see if we can see some animals out here now? Eben's like, yeah, why not? So they hike a little ways away from their campsite, and they set up their blind, and once again, they don't see any animals. It's totally quiet. And so they turn around and they start to camp out. As soon as they could see their campsite, which really was just their tent, they noticed that their tent was now collapsed. And Eben's father turns to him and says, oh, it must have been the wind. And Eben says, no, it couldn't have been the wind, because all day today we have been commenting on how quiet it is and how the fact that there's no weather, no wind, no anything is heightening the fact that it's completely silent. So it could not have been wind. So Eben's father is like, well, when you set the tent up, did you not put the posts into the eyelets? Did you not build it correctly? And Eben's like, no, I've made that tent like 1,000 times. I know it was set up correctly. They walk into their campsite and they look down at their tent and they're really confused at what they see. The two rods that go in an X over the top of the tent, that thread through nylon loops and then anchor at 4 different points on the base of the tent, well, they had been removed from the 4 corners. And if you know how a tent works, it works on tension. And once you have a rod anchored in 2 points, it doesn't just pop out. It's anchored at 2 sides. It's actually difficult to remove each anchor. Once one is out, the other comes out easily. But basically, the rod would need to break in order for it to come out of those anchor points, or someone would have to come over and remove it. And they didn't remove them, and none of the rods were broken. Which leaves them with either they failed to set up their tent, even though they had distinct and clear memories of setting it up and double checking it was set up, because they put gear inside of it, or someone came over to their campsite while they were gone and undid the 4 corners. They decide, you know what, it can't be some stranger coming over here, because we're the only ones with the gate combo. This is private property and no one could have been here. And why would they do that if they came to our campsite? Why would they randomly collapse our tent and then vanish? So it had to be us. We must have not made the tent. And while they didn't really believe that they had not made their tent, they convinced themselves that that's what happened because the alternative was just too bizarre and frankly terrifying to consider. So they build their tent and they make a little fire and they stay up for a little while chatting before being tired and saying, okay, let's just go to bed. They extinguish the fire, they get in the tent, and they go to sleep. A couple hours later, Eben wakes up suddenly and he's not sure if he's dreaming or not, but he thinks he hears someone laughing a couple hundred meters behind their tent off in the woods. Eben instinctively turns to make sure his dad is still in the tent with him, and he is. And then Eben starts listening really intently to what's happening outside. And all he can hear is silence, like it's been since they got in the woods. He doesn't hear any more laughter, and so he says, okay, I must have just been dreaming, and there wasn't any laughter out there, and eventually Eben goes back to sleep. A little while later, Eben wakes up suddenly again, except this time his dad is already awake and looking around anxiously. And Eben sits up and goes, what's going on? And his dad goes, he goes, can you hear that? And Eben listens, and to his horror, he hears laughing. He wasn't dreaming before. Eben also realizes the laughter is not coming from the same area he heard it. It's now coming from the opposite direction, and it's a lot closer to them. Eben very quietly and carefully explains to his dad that he actually heard this laughter a couple hours earlier. And Eben's father turns to Eben and says, before we came out here, I asked the owner, should we expect any other hunters or campers or anybody nearby? And the owner said, this is private property, and it's fenced in. There's no one there but you guys. After this revelation, they both turn their attention back to just listening because they're hoping this is just going to stop and whatever this is just going to leave. It doesn't leave. They hear footsteps running towards them from way off in the forest, and it's so quiet, it's really easy to hear these footsteps. and whatever this is charging towards them. And then it comes to a complete stop right at the edge of their clearing. At this point, Eben is now grabbing onto his father. Eben's father is holding onto his rifle and is getting ready to open the tent to confront whatever is out there. And right before he grabs the zipper, this person, whatever it is, starts laughing again. And it's practically right on top of them. It's so loud. They can hear it clear as day right there, right outside their tent. And Eben's father takes a deep breath. He grabs the zipper, and as soon as he begins moving it, the sound the zipper made causes the laughter to stop. They don't hear footsteps, so they know probably something's still out there. But the laughter stops like it's recognized that they're making noise. They're right there. There they are. They're in the tent. Eben's father freezes with his hand on the zipper, and he's debating whether he should go outside or not. And before he can even make that decision, whatever this thing is turns around and runs back into the woods, and it's just gone. And for several minutes, they just sit like that in total silence, praying that whatever this is gone for good. And after several minutes, when they don't hear anything, there's no more laughing, there's no more running, Eben's father re-zips up the tent, puts his hand back down, and they're both left just sitting there thinking, what the heck just happened? Eben and his father would stay up all night, and they would barely speak, because whatever this thing was had heard them when they moved the zipper. And so they were really afraid of making any sound, even little sounds, because it's so quiet, sound travels really far, and they don't know who or what is out there. And so in silence, holding their guns, they're just waiting for the sun to come up. And as soon as it did, they were up and out of there, literally running out of the forest, checking over their shoulder the whole time, all the way back to their truck. And so to this day, they have no idea who or what the heck was running around out there. And they told the owner of the property about it, and the owner just said, it's not possible. We have a totally gated in private piece of property, and there are cameras watching the only entrance. And you are the only ones that went in or out over that time period, and prior to that, we monitor this property. Nobody else was in there.
Asset in transit.
In 2016, a 25-year-old Wall Street banker named Matt was camping near Mount Rainier in Washington state. His job was so hectic that in the rare times he got a chance to, he would disappear into the wilderness for a few days to clear his head. Despite living in one of the biggest cities in the world, Matt was actually a very competent outdoorsman. And so for this trip, he decided he would stay way off any trail deep in the backcountry in random locations. On the first night, he found a nice clearing in the trees, and so he set up his campsite there. He ate some food over his fire, he pitched his tent, climbed inside, and within a few minutes,
continuously crashes.
Several hours later, Matt woke up to some strange sounds coming from outside of his tent. It sounded like a couple of animals or maybe one animal moving around right outside. And so after a while of just hearing this constant sound, he